Oh, yeah. I am awake and alive.
I'm so great I gotta say it twice and cut it out once. My head's a syrup bottle that's getting tipped over every Wednesday. You're a storyteller in a storytelling podcast, and the only story you're telling now is a story about stories you don't want to tell! What the fuck? Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast, folks. It's the second of two shows this week. I don't know how much I've got in the tank for you. I don't know. I could be on fumes. I could be on E, and that E stands for everybody, like T for teen. Let's play me, folks. Play me. I'm E for everyone. That's what the show is. Right now, tell all your friends. If anyone says, fuck, I can't do that, go, that's rated E for everyone. And then they will quickly realize how out of the loop they are, because they'll realize, hey, I guess I'm not everyone. No, you are not, because you hate this show, and I don't blame you. That's right. I'm talking to you, person about to turn the... Don't turn it off! Oh, they did it. I lost him. Well, now that they're gone, let's talk about them. Folks, that is from stage. That is from comedy. I think the first comedian did that bit. Because they'll say something like, hey, any Jews in the audience? Good, let's talk about those fuckers. And then it evolved because you couldn't talk about Jews like that anymore. And so it became the Italians, and then it became the Poles, and then it became the Irish, and it still is the Irish to this day, 150 years later. Lily says it's women. Oh, my God, don't be an Irish woman. Oh, my God, that's awful. That's terrible. No, because then everyone wants to talk about your four-leaf clover. Ugh. Do Irish ladies call their lady business a four-leaf clover? Enjoy my four-leaf clover? Are you? Well, you're not Irish, are you?
Yeah,
what is Von Stupp? I thought it was German.
Irish, French, and German.
All right. So you're Irish. So you're Irish, French, and German. So you can call it any number of things. You can call it your sauerbraten. You can call it that if you'd like. Or your what's the other thing? Or your spätzle. Call it that. I like that. That's a good idea. Ooh, dude, bury your face in my spätzle. That's awesome. All right. So as an Irish woman, you would call it your four-leaf clover, which we've established. That's obviously true, and that can't be argued. And all of you Irish women need to stand down now as you shake your wooden spoon holding fists at the iPod as you stir up a batch of mashed potatoes and cabbage. Whatever the fuck you guys make for your men, you should be cooking for your men. Isn't Irish cooking like awful, right? Isn't that notoriously bad? Because they boil the shit out of everything, right? Have you ever boiled your four-leaf clover? That would be painful, probably. All right, so, and then, of course, what your Irish part of you calls it your four-leaf clover. Your German part calls it your spätzle, we said. Or your, sauerbraten is, that's not a sausage, right? It's not a thing. What's the other thing? A schnitzel? Oh, my God, call it your schnitzel, right? That's perfect. That's cute. And then what's the French part of you call it? Your what? Le poussé, really? All right. That seems a bit on the nose, but that's fine. And look, folks, if you tune into the show thinking I can't wait until Mike says he has le poussé on the nose, you now wait and you can turn it off. You're finished listening. Things are over. It's about time, huh? Waiting for me to say le poussé on the nose. It's right there for you. I spelled it out. Oh, and now these Irish women they're mending pants and they're furious. I don't know why Irish women from the 1860s are hearing this show. Because you know why? They invented time travel. In the 1860s, these four women invented time travel just to come forward and discover podcasting. And you know what? They overshot the podcast festival by 3 days. They're so pissed. If they would have landed on Friday, they'd be perfect. But instead, they landed on Monday, and they're like, oh, fuck. And now they're forced to discover podcasting through me. Why? Actually, why when they landed on Monday and this show doesn't come out until Thursday? Why would they wait 3 more days? Are they sulking? They're actually angry. You know what there is? They're in there. They're trying to fix the time machine. They're in there like trying to figure out what went wrong, and it takes them 3 days because look, when you're Irish and you clamp your Irish jaws onto something, you're not going to let it go till it's fixed. So luckily, these 3 Irish women who invented time travel just to discover podcasting, they landed on Monday, overshot the festival, they're pissed. But that means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they figure out the problem, and then Thursday, they download me. I'm the first show they download. You know why? Because they got the program for the podcast festival. They found it blowing in the wind, because that happened after the podcast festival. So they just threw all of the excess programs off the roof of the Sheraton. And they were scattered to the winds. And luckily, the Irish people landed and grabbed one. They blew by these 4 women as they pulled out their hardtack and cider. All right. So hardtack, that's pirate food, right? I think hardtack is pirate food, but also Irish food. Oh my God, Irish pirates really love hardtack. Oh, I gave you an Ernie there. I busted out an Ernie laugh. All right, so, by the way, who wants to fuck my voice right now? God damn, do I sound good, right? Don't I? This show's being poured out of a goddamn syrup bottle. Holy shit, do I sound good? I sound like honey. All right. Because, the last few weeks I've heard my voice and I did not care for it. I didn't think I sounded as good as I should. And then I did the Sklar Brothers show and they were like the silky voiced Mike Schmidt. And I'm like, awesome. If the Sklar Brothers thing, so I guess I'm back to being silky voiced Mike Schmidt. Because I thought I was fucking throat full of tacks Mike Schmidt. But now I'm silky voiced Mike Schmidt yet again. And even more so now. Now I sound like I'm pouring yogurt in your ear. That seems not good at all. Hold on. Why yogurt? Why did I go yogurt? Because it seems silky smooth, right? Or I'm pouring the hummus in your ear from Hyatt's Kitchen. Oh, goddamn, I love it. I don't want a savory ear. Fuck that. Let's go back to sweet. It's got to be honey. Yeah, I don't want a savory ear. All right. Unless I go to Animal and I get a crispy pig's ear. All right. My wife's not a fan of the crispy pig's ear. We've talked about this. There were, as a matter of fact, at the podcast festival, listeners Ron and Dave Hansen approached me. They have taken me. We've gone to Katsuya before, Ron and Dave Hansen, and they're fans of eating anything with an eyeball. They're those two guys. You know what I mean? They're just like, hey, what do you got? Something with a head? Serve it up. So they took me to Katsuya. When I sat down at the table, we ordered something, and I go, okay, great. And they brought an entire fish, like a black miso cod, and with the eyeball intact. And we just pillaged it, and we split the eyeball 3 ways. And we split the eyeball 3 ways with our teeth. That's the way it works, right? It's for luck. If you get an eyeball, you have to each bite it 3 times. Like, you ever see when you're bobbing for apples and you're trying to bite them, or when an apple's on a string and people are trying to take chunks out of it? What you do is you hold the eyeball up, and all 3 of you get. We impromptu kissed as well. I kissed the Hansons. I wasn't proud of it. But when you're eating an eyeball with friends and you're sealing the deal on a friendship, there's going to be some excess lip contact, and it's going to happen. You have to deal with it. I would prefer to eat eyeballs with women. I'm not going to lie to you. I prefer to eat eyeballs with women. But when there's luck involved, sex doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're eating eyeballs to wish good luck upon ourselves, and then the 3 of us leaned forward, and we each took a bite of the eyeball, and maybe our tongues touched. We didn't mean for them to touch. I mean, I think Ron and Dave Hansen are good guys, and I enjoyed them, and I wasn't thinking when I first saw them, God, I can't wait to touch their tongues with my tongue. But when you're eating the lucky eyeball together, it's something you just have to do. There's collateral damage, and sometimes that collateral damage is an accidental French kiss with 2 guys from Minnesota. Milwaukee? Where are they from? Where are the Hansons from? I don't remember. The Hanson brothers. So they were at the podcast festival this week. Why was I talking about them? Why did they come up? Because we were eating eyeballs together, right? No, ears what? They wanted to go. Oh, that's right. They approached me. All right, here's the Hansons. Let me talk about the Hansons for just a second. They're nice guys. They wanted to see me in Milwaukee last year when I was live in Milwaukee. However, I announced the date, and they were coming here already to Los Angeles to go to Podcastathon. So they could not see me in Milwaukee, and they were just bummed. They were like, dude, what a drag. So they said, next time we're in L.A., can we take you to dinner? And I said, yeah, and then they did. Like I said, we went to Katsuya, and we had the impromptu 6-lip, 1 eyeball encounter. The 3 tongue, 6-lip, 1 eyeball. That's what it was. And it was a spectacle. I won't lie, it was a spectacle. But if you eat sushi, you know what I'm talking about. It's standard. Whenever you go in there, there's always 3 people eating an eyeball and kissing. Which is why I understand why some people aren't into sushi. They're like, I'm not really the eating of the eyeball and the kissing of the strangers. That doesn't do it for me. But you know what? Fuck that. The fish is so good. So the Hansons took me to Katsuya, and then I saw them at the podcast festival wandering the hallways this year, and they approached me, and they said, hey, man, what's a good place to eat around here? Because they know I'm fat. And I said, I think really what they were really saying was, hey, is there another place that serves eyeballs around here so we can kiss you again? I think that's what they were thinking. That's probably what they were thinking. That's the only reason they came out for the festival. Oh, my God, I hope we can sneak another peck off of Mike Schmidt while we eat eyeballs together. But instead, I thwarted their plan by telling them I did not know anywhere good to eat in Santa Monica, because that wasn't my town, man. I mean, Santa Monica's not my neighborhood. But I said, you know what? If you guys want to go off campus, you should go to Animal. Because, again, I know they eat eyeballs. They're those kind of dudes. They don't mind kissing guys. They don't mind eating eyeballs. So, by all means, the Hanson should go to Animal, because that stuff takes place in there all the fucking time. They'll bring out a bunch of pig eyeballs, and then everybody just gets naked and greasy. It's fucking amazing. Actually, you know what? At Animal, if you go there, they actually have a Chuck E. Cheese ball pit filled with pig eyeballs. You just dive in it and swim around. Oh, my God, is it amazing. But they're cooked, and they're delicious, and they're seasoned, and you can bite them. All right, so I told them, I go, dudes, go to Animal. You should go to Animal. It's absolutely the move. And I said, fuck. I said, if you're here late enough tonight, I'll go. But here's the thing I found out about the podcast festival. Everybody was in town to see shows. whatever. Because people would approach me and I'd go to make plans and they go, nah, we got to see a podcast that time. Well, what the fuck? Are you here to see me or see a podcast? Which is it? Are you here to see the Los Angeles Mike Schmidt Festival or the Los Angeles Podcast Festival? Make up your mind, dude. Are you going to shit or are you going to kill us? So it turned out that they were like, well, cool, yeah, maybe we'll keep Animal in mind. That sounds like really amazing stuff. And then what was weird is because they were going to go watch their show, and I'm like, all right, dudes, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hang out here. And they went to leave, and they leaned in for a kiss, like even with. And I'm like, fellas, look, there has to be an eyeball involved if I'm going to kiss the two of you. I'm glad to see you. Let's not get it twisted. I'm very happy that you're here. But if I'm going to kiss you at all, there has to be an eyeball involved. So we all nodded affirmatively, and we shook hands, and they walked away. But then time goes by, minutes pass. And days even passed. It's weird. When days pass, minutes pass. I guess I should have extrapolated it. A few days pass. And come to the end of the podcast festival. And these guys approached me, Ron and Dave Hansen. And they said, actually, you know what? Dave did not. Dave stood in the shadows and he sent Ron to do his dirty work. So I was in the hallway and I had just finished my show. And I'll get to that in a minute. But Ron Hansen approached me in the hallway, and he comes up and he leans in close, and I'm like, "No kissing." And he actually seemed genuinely hurt. He looked a little disappointed, and I go, "Don't be sad about it, Ron. I mean, look around. Do you see an eyeball?" And he just kind of looked down at the ground. He nodded. He turned his head, "No." And I said, "And let me more importantly than that, do you see Dave?" And he went, "No." And I said, "Exactly. Unless there's an eyeball and unless there's a Dave, there's no kissing." And he's like, all right. He goes, well, and he, sure enough, he bowed his head and he kicked the dirt a little bit. And I said, oh, come on, slugger. And I tousled his red hair. And he looked up at me and he's like, he felt better about it, actually. I made him feel a little bit better about it then. And at that point, I was actually thankful that they had sent Ron over instead of Dave because Dave is completely bald. So I would not have been able to save that situation with Dave because I would have, tousled his scalp? That would have been awful. It would have been horrible. It looked like I was rubbing his head for good luck. And also, if I rub the bald guy's head, he immediately thinks I'm inviting him in for a kiss, as you bald people all know. The second anybody rubs your bald head, it's smooching time, right? By the way, smooching time, I cleaned it up because I know the Irish are listening. I want the 4 Irish women to realize it's smooching time. So I needed them to know as they wave their wooden spoons and they cluck their tongues. And you know what's funny? You guys are all maybe hideous and like horrified by eyeball eating and all that nonsense. The 4 Irish women are like, yep. Because as I mentioned, they boil fucking everything and eat every last scrap. Okay. I mean, aren't they turning hooves into gelatin over there in 1860s Ireland? I guess everybody is. Aren't gelatin is hooves. All right, never mind. You know what? The Irish are off the hook. Unless the Irish invented Jell-O. I have no idea. We'll have to wiki that, folks. We'll have to wiki that. Hey, Cosmo. Did you know that Superman, he came to town to see who he could rock? All right, All right, never mind. I can get in a loop. I can't do that. He blew away every crew he faced until he reached our block. Did you know that? His speakers were 10 stories high with woofers made of steel. All right, so that's Superman if he was DJing on your block, according to Nucleus. Because, that's what Superman would do. And honestly, if I was Superman, I would do that too. Truly. If I was Superman, because there's no supervillains really to fight. Because what challenge is it for Superman to fight burglars? Fuck that. God damn it. If I was Superman, I would just look bemused at all of the humans on Earth, and then I would put together a DJ crew that would rock your block. Until, of course, they'd rock my butt with a 12-inch cut called Disco Kryptonite, and then I'd be finished. Yeah, that's right, folks. That's great. Oh, Lily just sneezed when she laughed. She spit all over her computer screen. That was awesome. All right. I can't believe they rocked my butt with a 12-inch cut called Disco Kryptonite. All right, so what the fuck was I talking about before Superman came to town to see who he could rock? Oh, that's right. Ron wanted to kiss me. I was kissing Ron Hansen. Anyway. Yeah, so I was glad when I tousled his hair, I made him feel better about himself. Because again, if it's Dave Hansen, I rub the bald head, and then we got real problems. Then who knows what happens? You bald people know. So Ron then looks up, and he's feeling better about himself, and he goes, "Hey, Animal tonight?" And I went, "What?" And he goes, "Animal tonight." And let me explain something to Ron Hansen right now, and to you folks too. You can listen if you'd like. at the end of the festival, they have like a big party, like a big extravaganza, and that is something I want to avoid at all costs if I don't do well. So if he would have said to me, "Hey, let's go to Animal," and I had bombed, I would be like, "Yes, let's go right now," because I don't care to be here ever again. But conversely, when things don't go badly, you want to stick around and have everyone tell you how unbadly things went. You'd prefer to sit there and, because as much as I want to cram my belly full of awful, I certainly do. But awful. I at the same time, I wanted to stay at the hotel and get kudos because I would rather eat kudos than offal. I love eyeballs and pig ears and all that kind of nonsense. But if there was a big plate of pig compliments, like, oh man, that's a great, like chitlins. Chitlins are what? Hog balls, right? All right. So, or hog guts? No, they're hog balls. Yeah. So, dude, if you were I would even eat chitlins if you sliced them open and stuffed them full of compliments. That's where I would do that because that's my sustenance. I eat praise. So if you said that here's a big plate of pig stuffed with praise, holy shit, I'm in. I don't care what part of the pig it is. We've already established I eat an eyeball. So it was nice of them to ask, and I wish they would have gone on Friday when I wanted them to go. But at the end of the festival, I got to stick around and be told I'm great. So hey Hansons, thanks, but I have to pass. And I told him no, and I gave him a kiss goodbye just to make him feel better about himself. I leaned forward, and I gave him, but it was on the forehead because I don't want Dave to get jealous. Again, like I said, Dave is hiding in the shadows. I don't even know why Dave sent Ron to be the animal emissary. Like, why did Dave not get himself involved? Because he was there. I could see him with an eye shot. He's just doing nothing, leaning against the wall. And he sent Ron. Maybe Dave's jealous. Maybe Ron likes me more than Dave. Oh no, that would be awful, right? What if Dave only tolerated me because Ron really liked me? That cheapens our kiss. That eyeball-eating kiss that we shared at Katsuya is now cheapened because I know that 1/3 of us was not into it. I can't imagine the discussions on the way from Milwaukee in the plane. Ron's trying to get, how do we get Mike to kiss me? And Dave's like, I don't know, but leave me out of it. Hatching their nefarious plan for 5 hours in the air. Finally, the wheels hit the tarmac, and Ron goes, I have it! That eyeball sushi bonding kiss that everybody does. And Dave's like, I tend to leave me out of it. But Ron got what he wanted. And Dave, good brother that he is, sacrificed himself for the good of Ron. Jesus. They will never listen again. If they even listen now, they may not. This may all be a ruse because they wanted to kiss me. Again, like I said, Ron may have just seen a picture of me online and said, that's a sexy guy. I don't care what he saw. He says it all. And Ron's on board. How funny would it be if I've completely misjudged Ron and Dave and they are like homophobic and they hate me now from this entire fucking thing? Like, because I thought they get, I'm like, they get it and they're fun and we're all having a good time. I mean, we did make out at Katsuya, so obviously they're not that homophobic. But seriously, if they are like those guys, like all of a sudden I misjudge them and they're like Midwestern guys who don't care for the gay lifestyle. And now they've been like for all eternity. Every time I sell year 5, people are going to listen to episode 28 and realize that the Hansons wanted to make out with me. They are so mad. God damn, they're furious. Oh God, I hope they get it. If not, and also they're big dudes. I'm going to get the shit kicked out of me. This is awful. You ever heard that in Stripes? I got the shit kicked out of me in Wisconsin once. Yeah, because the Hanson brothers didn't like you talking about making out with them, Harold Ramis. We zip in, we zip out. It's like Wisconsin. Not if the Hanson brothers are waiting at the border for a fucking kiss with their fists. You're getting pummeled, Ramis. All right. So I had stuff to tell you guys too. I don't even know what happened there. I got lost in a loop. I got lost in a Hanson kissing loop. But I will tell you, if you're going to get caught in a loop, there is no greater loop to get caught in than a Hanson kissing loop. Oh my gosh. Ron and Dave. Oh. All right. So, and don't forget the eyeball. Don't forget to dangle the eyeball in the middle of that. So, folks, I did the, I'll tell you this. I stopped at the bank today on the way here. Look, all right, I'm going to share this with you. And again, this isn't nothing. This is just something that happened. It's not even going to be, this is not interesting at all. So prepare yourselves. But it just, I think because when it happened and I got into my car and I thought about it, I was like, I don't think anybody else would have done what I did. Maybe they would have. This is part of one of those things where I don't know if I did this because I'm me and I would do these sorts of things, or if I did this because then I get to tell you guys about it. I don't know. But I was in the bank. I had to go to 2 banks today because apparently I have to live my life that way. And I'm in line at the bank, and then a guy gets in line behind me, and he had a faux hawk. and I didn't care for him very much. And he's got his phone in front of his face, and he's talking, and he's doing all that bullshit. Then he hangs up his phone call, and then he's texting or twittering or whatever the fuck he's doing because he's very important, and his thumbs are just there. He's got restless thumb. Maybe he's got a medical condition called restless thumb, and he couldn't possibly holster it for the 5 seconds he was in line at the bank. But he finishes his phone call, and he beep bop boops his phone, and he puts it in, and it makes it fucking weird because he had an Android, and those make weird noises too. Like, it was funny. Lily and I were talking when I showed up today. She has a text noise, and it's a fucking clown horn. Okay, haha, we get it. You're boning a clown. Wonderful. But I guess she had that, and also Eddie, her clown friend, he also had it on his phone. And then Eddie, he put on the pouty makeup, and so she knew something was wrong. She's like, "What's wrong with you?" And he's like, he's got the pouty makeup on. And apparently it was because he was sad that she had the same text tone as he did. That was far too close to being married for Eddie the clown. He's like, "Look, we're close, but we're not that close, all right? So I don't know why you have to steal my text tone, particularly the clown horn text tone, because I'm a clown. Check out the face, pouty makeup." And Lily's like, "Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I have to realize that." So Lily said that she was forced to change her text tone because Eddie the clown he drew his pouty makeup on and he was very sad about it.
None of this is true.
It's all true.
No.
You said this when I walked in. Don't try to get out of it now.
I said it was because we were always going, whose phone is that? Is that yours or mine? We'd never know who was getting a text message.
Right. Eddie's mad that
There
you...
was confusion.
Eddie's angry that you want to be a clown like him. He's like, "Look, if you want a little clown in you, I got no problem with that." He goes, "You want some white makeup? I'll give you white makeup." That's what Eddie said. He said, "I'll give you a white face. You want white face? Perfect. But quit stealing my clown horn tone so everybody thinks that you're a clown too." Because clowns are angry. It's like comedians. When comedians see like soap opera stars do stand-up, they're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Honestly? Can't you stick to your successful gig?" So then Eddie sees Lily, who's a stripper, trying to be a clown, and he's like, "God damn it, look, I'm a clown. It's tough out there for a clown. It's hard out there for a clown. And you got to come along with your big tits and your happy clown makeup, and now you're stealing my honky horn noise. God damn it." And then Lily, she really got off on it because she knew she's boning a clown. She loves the sound. So then she'd come up with her boobs in your face, and then she'd push them like a car horn, and then she'd push the thing on her phone, and it would go, and it'll make the clown hair noise. And everybody would have a big laugh like she was a clown, and she was usurping Eddie's clown energy, and he was so angry about it. I would see him, he'd be furious. He'd have to go away for like a minute and come back with the angry makeup on. Oh, and I'd say, "What are you mad about?" He'd go, "Nothing." I go, "It's written all over your face. You're so mad." And then he would shoot me with a seltzer bottle for 11 minutes. And you just got to stand there and take it. If a clown pulls out a seltzer bottle and he catches you, because the thing is, it's always coming. You got to be frosty around clowns because they have a seltzer bottle at the ready at all times. They're like fucking Quick Draw McSplash, and they're ready to nail you, okay? So you have to be ready. So, because if they pull out the seltzer bottle, run or duck. Because the point is, here's the way it works, as you well know. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, folks. If a clown pulls out a seltzer bottle and catches you unawares, you must stand there until he is done shooting with you with seltzer. You must. That's the rule. That's the law. He could empty the entire fucking bottle in your face, and you have to let him do it. This is a thing I used to do with my brother Glenn, actually. My brother Glenn and I, and he would probably still do it now because he's old and dumb like me. We used to do a thing if you were standing there or walking, and they caught you unawares by hitting you in the stomach. Not a punch, not like a crazy punch. We weren't fucking meatheads, but just like Pillsbury Doughboy. Okay, you know how you poke him in the stomach and he's like, hee, whatever the fuck. All right. Well, the way it worked with a grown man, with me and Glenn anyway, is if you were standing there and your gut was out or whatever, and if he got his fist into your gut, you had to stand there until he stopped doing what he was going to do. Because it would be this. It was this stupid thing. All right, you're going to fucking go, "Why did you do this?" I don't know. All right? My brothers and I had a handshake nobody else had. It's like the Hansons. The Hansons kiss strangers together to get an eyeball in their mouth. That's fine. Good for them. Every set of siblings has their own thing. God damn, they're going to murder me. Murder me.
Probably.
And literally they'll just find me at the pier in a pile of eyeballs, fish eyeballs. Or they'll find me in the ball pit at Animal with the pork eyeballs. I should have expanded on that. That was a funny idea. So it would be this stupid thing where your stomach was exposed and you would walk up and you just go, and you would just make stupid noises while you were pushing their stomach in with your fist, and they had to make a sad face and look at the ground. That was the whole point. It was like and you just because you were caught. I can't even. If you saw me, you would understand exactly what I mean. But you had to pretend like you were depressed, that you were caught in that unfortunate fist stomach noise loop, and you couldn't go anywhere. But you could not fight against it. You had to stand there. You know what? Fuck it. This is one ass whipping I'm going to have to take. This is one stomach noise fist loop I'm going to have to endure. And you had to stand there until the other guy was finished. And sometimes it would go for 30 seconds. It was just you did it until the other guy was tired, and then when he took his fist away, you would never speak of it again, and you would just go your separate ways. So that's how it is with a clown. The rules are, if a clown catches you unawares with his seltzer bottle, you have to stand there until he's finished. He could empty the whole bottle on you, or he could just give you a little squirt and then move on. But regardless, the very fact that you were caught unawares by a clown with a seltzer bottle, you have to stand there and take it. So Lily knows. She knows that if a clown is shooting anything in your face, you have to stand there until he's finished. Lily's known that forever. So now they're having this huge fight over the text tone. And she's like, oh my God, now I had to change mine to a different sound. And it got me to thinking that I love Apple. I'm an Apple guy. I've got a Shuffle. I've had 3 iPods. I've got 2 iPhones. I've got a desktop. I got a laptop. I've gone through 3 laptops with them. Hey, Apple, I understand you're doing everything you can to make products better. There's an iPad. There's coming out with an iPad mini. All of these amazing products, and it's all plug and play, and I love it. It's the future. It's wonderful. I love the iTunes store. I love everything there is to love about Apple. And I know right now there's people out there who hate Apple or like, whatever, sheep. And I'm like, well, good. Enjoy your Dell doorstop. All right, fuck you. But people are giving me a hard time. Right? Well, nobody is giving me a hard time. I'm creating enemies in my head. But still, I love Apple. If you don't like it, good for you. Go out and buy an HP and get to know a repair guy very well. And, because HP doesn't have a genius bar. You know what they got? I can fix this bar. That's what they have. HP has an, I could fix this bar. All right, or I could fix this bar. Jeez. It's all about inflection, folks. I'm a broadcaster. So, what was I talking about? Apple. So Apple, Lily's got a ringtone, and it's a clown horn, and now she's shifted it to like a growling dog or some bullshit. Look, I love Apple, okay? Fix the fucking sounds in your phone. Fix the sounds in your phone. Every ringtone that you could possibly have in your phone is like a marimba or a strumming guitar or like a crowing cock or a fucking phone. It's like, or an old-timey phone. And they suck. All of them suck. And like I had Sonar for a while, like this weird thing. It's because they want you to buy ringtones. I get it. They want to trick you out of more money. They want you to go spend $2 so you don't have to listen to a fucking, clown horn. They want you to buy Rick Ross. Which is fine. I get that. That's wonderful. But I don't care. As a human being who's bought so many of your products, just have one cool ringtone that we can use. Just one. One. What are you saying? No, say it.
I like the old-timey phone. I like the car horn. I like the little Fred Flintstone.
You like that? Ooga! You like that thing?
Yes.
Oh, Christ. That's awful. If your phone goes off with that and you're in a fucking line somewhere, everybody looks at you like, what an idiot. It's just terrible. I don't like that. Yeah, that's right. Make a pouty face. Because that's what everybody thinks when they look at you. Are you putting on your sad makeup? You should. You put on your pouty makeup, and then Eddie will come in here. What? Furious. He scrubs your face. But I hate all of the Apple noises. I hate them. I can't stand them. I would rather it was like Steve Jobs just going, fuck you. Like literally, because that's what they all sound like to me anyway. Because he put such a litany of stupid sounds in his phone, in his otherwise perfect product. It just is him, like that's them flipping you off. So here's what I want, folks. I've talked about this before. Because here's the thing. I put it out there where I was like, I want certain ringtones. And everybody wrote me and goes, here's how you make a ringtone. Fuck that. Make me a ringtone. All right, guys? If you can send me a note and you'll be like, hey, dude, like, here's how you do it. You open this. Fuck that. I don't want to do it. I'm the talent. Remember? You guys listen to me and I do the show for free and everybody's great and we're all happy and we love one another. Make me something that I can use now. Here's what I want, because I talked before, like I had the Halloween ringtone. I bought that for my old phone and I loved it. And then I bought like 3 other pieces of music from Halloween. I love them, all right? And those aren't all available, I don't think, on the iPhone. I think there's only one of them available, and they redid it. It's not the actual Halloween, like John Carpenter's Halloween. It's some guy who redid it. Like, you ever heard that? Like, like that's, swing into the Hollywood hits. Here's Halloween. Fuck you. Kill yourself. Guy who reproduces great music. I hate that. It's fucking depressing. So here's what I want out of you folks. Because then what I really wanted was I wanted an Escape from New York ringtone. That was when I brought this up before, and everybody's like, dude, all you got to do is you got to take the theme and you got to put it in here and you got to put it in GarageBand and you got to fuck. I can't do any of that. You understand that, right? I turn my computer on and then that's it. I'm scared. I don't know what else to do. I go on the internet. I don't know how to do anything else inside my computer. I'm just learning now other things my phone can do, like things that I had no idea it could do. As far as like saving, like I have email on my phone, but I only did it just whatever. So I only check it. I never send anything. So the other day I had to send something real quick and I went to send email and it came up with the address from my address book, right? Like everything is connected in my phone. I had no idea. I didn't know. I thought I had to type everything over and over. And this is why I've been too lazy to do it. I'm like, I can't send any email because then I got to type everybody's address. I got to go over to the contacts and remember it and then go over. But no, dude, your phone is smart. Hence the title smartphone. I never put it together. I never put that together until like 2 weeks ago where I started to type something and it started to fill in shit. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Amazing. If my phone would stop changing so to do, I'd be thrilled about that. That would be great. But other than that, man, my phone is a genius. He does all that kind of shit, except for the fact, you know what? It's funny. My phone is like Einstein, but with Jerry Lewis's voice. That's what my phone is like. Because it's a fucking genius. It's amazing. It does all that stuff. And then when it comes time for it to make a sound, it's like, hey, lady! Fuck that, phone. You're smart. Have a smart voice. Why can't you put a smart voice in there? I understand iPhone 5 has like Siri and stuff like that, but Siri's not a ringtone. Like if I had the iPhone 5, I wouldn't want my ringtone to just be Siri going, someone's calling you right now. You know what I mean? Like have an erudite English person. But again, God, and listen, by the way, if you're not still laughing at my phone as Einstein with a Jerry Lewis voice, then kill yourself because I will never be funnier than that. My phone is a genius, but hey, lady! God damn it, I love me. Get an eyeball, kiss me right now. All right, so because all the sounds are stupid. Like it's a genius phone, but the sounds are dumb. And I wanted, like I said, I wanted an Escape from New York ringtone, and I asked you people out there, and everybody had people sent me like detailed instructions, and I can't do that. I can't do that. People sent me like the iPhone manual. People sent me a link to the iPhone help thing that explained. I'm like, dudes, what the fuck is this? That's like those assholes who are like, let me Google that for you. You ever see when they do that? Online, somebody will ask something obvious. And look, yes, you should Google it. Absolutely. But then some asshole's just like, let me Google it for you. And it's got that stupid link that you can click on and they go. And you're just like, you're an arrogant asshole. Just if you can't help, don't help. So anyway, folks, do everything I say. Now listen to me. I may be contradicting myself. Who cares? Now listen to me. So I wanted an Escape from New York ringtone, and I thought that would be fun. And then I said I wanted a Halloween ringtone, which I could buy. But now I want a different ringtone. I know the ringtone that I want. All right? And I need somebody out there, some genius out there, to make it for me. I will send you the song, okay? And then you just need to do your magical bullshit, whatever, and then send it to me, and then I'll have the ringtone. All right? Here's what I want. All right, I want one of two. Okay, either one of these, whichever works. But I think the one that I really want, who cares? I want them equally. All right, here's what I want. I want a ringtone, and all it is Paul Stanley going, people! So then when my phone rings, it'll just go, people! People! Like, I want that to be my ringtone. Or, and I think I want this one more, there's a song called Come On and Love Me, okay? And in the song Come On and Love Me, Paul says, so, and I want that to be my ringtone. Is just Paul going, so, like I can't do the voice justice, but I was listening to it because look, I love Paul Stanley, or I love Kiss, all right, that's fine. And it's funny, I'll make fun of them forever. Like I will make fun of them all the time, and then I'll be alone in the dark, and I will put on Strutter, and I'm 9 years old playing guitar on a broom and loving every second of it. Okay, they will never leave me. They won't. Even though they have a new album coming out, and I heard the song called Hell or Hallelujah. I saw them on Letterman. They were on fucking Letterman, and here's the weirdest thing about Kiss for me, okay? Look, if you get up close on Kiss, you realize, yeah, these guys are 80. I mean, it's like fucking bizarre. But if you're the right amount of distance away with the camera, Gene Simmons is still Gene Simmons from 1976. I mean, he's the demon. It's fucking crazy. We know he's an idiot. His hair is ridiculous. He's the most pompous asshole in the fucking world. I've seen him having sex wearing socks. It's awful. So I know every horrible bad thing about him. He's a reality show star, all that shit, but it doesn't matter because when he's standing there in fucking demon boots with the bat wings and he's playing an axe bass, the big axe bass, and the tongue is going, and you're far enough away to not see his waddle. I'm 9. He's fucking Gene Simmons. It's fucking amazing. It's amazing. So they were on Letterman, and when they get in close, you were just kind of like, ee. But then when they back up a little bit, you're like, God, that fucking Kiss is on Letterman. This is the greatest. And then the best is Dave comes over to shake their hands, and they're truly monsters because they're 7 feet tall in their boots. Not really, they're about 6'5", but Dave's 6'2", and they tower over him. All of them tower over him, and Gene's wearing armor with the fucking axe. But God damn it, it's great. So, but I love Paul Stanley's my guy. And with Halloween coming up, everybody's like, who are you going to be for Halloween? Of course, Paul Stanley. Nobody's asked me that, and I've not said that. But still, if it comes up, I just wish the Hansons would fly back so they could be Ace and Peter. And then we got to find a Gene who wants to be a Gene out there. How weird is that? Look, how many times have you been asked to be in a Kiss Halloween thing and the Gene was available? Never, because everybody wants to be fucking Gene right away. People suck. They all take the Gene right away when they don't realize that Paul is the man. Paul is the greatest. Holy shit. All right. So that's what I want as my ringtone is there's the line in Come On and Love Me where he's singing and then he goes, so, baby, baby. And it goes right into baby, baby, don't you hesitate because I just can't wait. Baby, once you get me down on my knees, I can do what you please. Come on and love me. Their lyrics are so bad. So bad. Got to all right, so their song Hell and Hallelujah. And it's always like, they rhyme win and sin. And, it's terrible. Everything they rhyme is awful. But still, they're genius. So if you out there are talented and you can make me a ringtone, I will send you the song. I'll send you the live version of Come On and Love Me so you can get the so. I'll tell you exactly where the time code is on it. And I want that to be my ringtone. Or any Paul Stanley. Really, I would want as my ringtone, quite frankly. God, like I would think, like I'm trying to think, like in in Love Gun, he goes, you pulled the trigger of my love gun. What if I had the my as my ringtone? My. See, that's genius. Because people would hear it and then go, I sort of know what that is. And I wouldn't tell them what it was. It'd be, oh, dude. Oh, all right, fuck it. You know what I want? Because so is great and so is the my. But if I want a whole phrase, one of my favorite things that Paul says is there's a song called Mr. Speed of Rock and Roll Over. And the little guitar riff is fucking genius. And the chorus is, well, I got the kind of loving that you need. The kind of loving that I'm so fast. That's why the ladies call me Mr. Speed. And then there's this little throwaway Paul does. And he goes, they call me Mr. Speed. And I can't, obviously I can't do his voice, but he does that little modulation with the speed. What if that was my fucking thing? Well, not just speed. I would have to have, they call me Mr. Speed. People. All right. They call me Mr. Speed. I would have that. I sound awful. I don't want... You know what? You know what some asshole's going to do? They're going to send me that as the ringtone. You were going to do it? Damn it. I'm sorry I exposed you. Literally, our brains work the same way. Because if I was some dick out there, I would go, hey, dude, I made you the Mr. Speed ringtone. And it would be me going, they call me Mr. Speed. God damn it. I would be so mad and yet so happy, and yet that would be my ringtone. Everybody go, who's that? I go, it might be Paul Stanley. Maybe. It should be, except some fucking wankster out there. That's right, I go wankster, not even prankster. You're a wankster. That's what 50 Cent would call you, or 50 Cent would call you that. I used to do a bit on stage, and I had to say 50 Cent's name, and I'd say 50 Cent, and it was so funny. I always felt so white saying it as 50 Cent, but not as white as I would if I would have called him 50 Cent. You know what I mean? Like, so I just called him $50. I just went ahead. I went full white with it, and I called him $50. You know why? Because I'm a wankster. All right. I have a feeling I'm missing something. I was somewhere, and we went somewhere else. Because Lily's phone threw us all off, right? I was going to tell you about the bank. This isn't even worth it now. You know what I mean? This anecdote's terrible. Literally, it was just a placeholder to get me somewhere else. But this just happened in the bank. And it just, again, like I said, I'm torn between whether this is something you guys would do or if it's something I just do so I can, because it's funny. Lily and I were just talking about going to see shows. And there are shows that I would like to see, but I don't want to put myself in the situation of being in the room with the people who would see that show. There are shows coming to Los Angeles, and I asked Lily, I go, would you be interested in this? And she said yes. And I go, the thing is, I don't want to put myself in a room with those people. Like, if there was like a Pope Mobile seat that I could sit in, just like in a square like box, and not have to deal with the public and just watch and enjoy the show, I would do it. If there was extra I could pay to sit away from the riffraff, I would do it. But unfortunately, these shows, I think everybody there would be riffraff. And honestly, if I show up in a Pope Mobile, they're not going to be happy with me, right? I mean, these people already are horrible. And then I show up in a Pope Mobile, that's just going to be licensed to start throwing tomatoes and shit. But that's okay. I will smite them with my mitre. So I was just talking to Lily about that. I don't want to be places because inevitably I will do something or things will happen. And those are things that should not happen. And they're things that I should not do. And yet I still allow myself to get sucked into them, even at 45. Because I can't. To me, it's like, I'm not a pussy. I don't want to be a pussy about it. And I don't want to back down. But at the same time, that's why I don't put myself in these situations. Because I don't want to be there in a place where I've got to prove I'm not a pussy. Fuck that. You know what? Because I'm starting to reach the age where I should just go, yeah, I'm a pussy, and get in the car and go home. You know what I mean? Because what the fuck am I going to throw down with somebody for? It's ridiculous. I don't want to do it anymore. But unfortunately, the rage and anger that I have inside me doesn't understand that in the moment. It just comes leaping out. So today at the bank, and it was just, this isn't even a rage thing. This was just that I was annoyed, and it was a guy who was self-involved, and everybody hated him anyway. Okay? So, like I said, he got in the bank, and he got in line behind me. He's on the phone, and he's loud. He's doing his thing, and everybody, it's just that thing like, dude, you're not that important in the bank on the phone. And I had to go, it was funny, because I had to go to 2 banks, and I was on the phone with Mex. And I had to speak to him, so I had to go into the bank on the phone. And I started whispering, and Mex is like, I can't hear you. I go, dude, I'm in the bank, and I don't want to talk to you in the bank, but I have to, because we got to get this done. So I was as quiet as possible. I tried not to be noticed, and I had a Bluetooth. Well, this guy didn't have a Bluetooth. He had his phone on speaker, and he's talking to it. So you hear the other person, too. And they're sorting through whatever bullshit they're sorting through, and it's just, and everybody, it's just this thing like you're so important. You're so much more important than the rest of us, and we have to listen to your very important talk about where to pick up the cement. And like I said, he had a faux hawk. He wasn't, whatever. So he's behind me. He's on his speakerphone, and there's a line. We're all exchanging furtive glances, like, really, you dumbass, you have to do this. And then he finally stops talking. He turns the phone off. And he's directly behind me. Also, this is another thing. He doesn't have any personal space, any real, because there's a line. So he wants to get to the window quickly, and he thinks he's making the line move quicker by being as close to the person in line as he possibly can. So he's right on my ass, and he's talking. He's right in my ear. I can hear everything. And he hangs up the phone, and he goes, and he breathes all over me. He blows like on my neck and everything. And he wasn't. I'm about 6'2". He was probably about 5'10". And I don't know if he was looking up in the air, but it was like my hair even moved, like, and it was on my neck. And look, folks, I wasn't a fan of his anyway because of his phone antics. But then you exhale all over me. It felt like it almost felt like he was dismissing me by exhaling on me. Like, I'm so bored of you, like that sort of thing. So I turned around, and he was shorter than I thought. Like I said, I thought he was my height, but he was small. Like, he was about 5'10", 5'9". And I turned around, so I was facing him now. And he's 3 inches from me because he wants to constantly move up and move up and move up. And he's still looking at his phone. And I just look at him. And when I turn around, he doesn't even look up. He doesn't feel my presence, but people can. And he's looking at his phone. And so I just went... And I just breathed all over him, in his face, because I'm taller, so it was coming down on him. I blew his hair, I blew his face, and he's looking at his phone. And I was very careful. It wasn't a wet breath. It wasn't anything disgusting. But it was very clear that what I was doing, like, because I didn't just go. I just went. I fucking, like, I was blowing out candles on 10 birthday cakes. I went hippo hurricane holler on this motherfucker. That's what I did. I fucking wound up like goddamn Peter Potamus, and I was just like, yee. And he like kind of flinched like in the brunt of it, and he looked up into the wind, and he looked up at me, and I was looking right at him, and I had just a steely stare, and it was just. looked at him, and he's like, "What? What?" And he's looking at me, and people in line, like one guy laughed because he knew what I did, but other people were like, they were even more scared because, we're playing asshole poker, all right? And he clearly had a full house with his phone call, and then I dropped a straight flush right in his face. I'm 3 inches from him, and I just exhaled all of my lung capacity. I literally everything I had unloaded all over him. And look, folks, I will tell you this. I had just brushed my teeth and I had gargled and flossed. I was fresh breath McGee, which was fine. So it was like I didn't unload on him with a bunch of plaque, and I made sure it wasn't a wet breath, but it was clearly, his hair was blown back. The faux hawk was moving while I was exhaling all over him. And then I looked at him, and he looked at me like, what? And then I just turned back around. I didn't say anything. Because like I said, when I finished blowing on him, I stared at him and basically dared him to say something. And he was just kind of like that thing where you're swatting flies, like he was caught in the fucking tornado. And he's like, what? And he looked at me like with kind of a mean face, and I just looked at him to do something. But my eyes said do something, but I didn't, which is a nice change. And then I turned around and waited to get called from my window, and he didn't say a fucking word. He didn't do anything. He didn't hit me. He didn't yell. But I hope he learned his lesson. That's what I certainly hope. And you know what's funny? There's no lesson to be learned. I'm not the arbiter of fucking manners. I'm not a guy who should teach people how to fucking behave. But just the fact that he blew like all over me, and it was just like this weird dismissive thing. We hated him anyway. And so I kind of knew that people were going to be on my side if it happened, unless if I headbutt them, they're not on my side anymore. But all I did was just turn around and I just fucking blew air all like right in his face, just fucking like crazy. And he stood there, he's like, what? And then I just turned around and he didn't do anything. So it makes me laugh that I'm telling Lily, like, I don't want to go to places where crazy people are. When in reality, I'm ready to play fucking asshole poker at any moment with anyone at any time. And I'll go all in on you. I don't fuck around. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're going to do that? Well, I just did this. And everything is ruined for you and me. Because I don't have any children, folks. I don't have to worry about a legacy. Fuck that. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm not going to embarrass my kids in the future. Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick show up. They're thrilled. They're happy. I took them out of a goddamn hovel in China, and they came over here, and they're going to go on the internet and go, our dad's famous. This is awesome. He got into a fight in a bank and punched a car. That's genius. He made out with 2 dudes from Minnesota in a sushi restaurant. I love my dad. Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick, because you know what? The alternative is fucking putting clown noises in iPhones at the age of 5 until the age of 50 when you die with gnarled hands from iPod poisoning. It's actually a thing. That's actually a thing in China. It's not even lead or all the components. It's called iPod poisoning, and it's killing all of them. But as long as I can listen to my tool set list as the plane lands, I don't care. Good for you guys. As long as Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick don't fall victim to the fucking iPod poisoning, I can't have that. They need to be safe. So I can squire them over here. We can all breathe in guys' faces at the bank. That's right. I'll teach them. If you see a couple of Chinese dudes dressed in fucking shiny pajamas with those big wooden buttons breathing in people's faces, you know who it is. It's Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick come to wreak havoc in this country. Bomb Pop Schmidt and his brother Chinese Rick Schmidt. God damn it. Yeah, that's right. I will dress them in those old-timey Chinese pajamas. I don't want them to lose touch with their heritage. I'm bringing them over here, but that's fine. They can adapt to the Western lifestyle, but they must keep their Eastern philosophy. I couldn't even get it out. Damn it. Oh, that'll be awesome. You know what? Maybe I go the other way. I start wearing those shiny pajamas with the big wooden buttons. Oh, my God. That'd be awesome. Lily pretends to like it. All right.
Oh, they're comfortable.
Are they?
Yes.
Will you wear them too?
I have. My ex.
No. Will you when I bring Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick and we'll all go out together?
Am I doing them?
You're going to fuck my sons?
Why not?
I don't know, because that seems weird. That's like as weird as the Hansons kissing me, quite frankly. You ever banged a father and son team? That's kind of creepy. Oh, well.
Together.
Well, this wouldn't be that either. All right. Well, good for you. Well, Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick, you've got that in your future. That's good news. You get to wear your shiny pajamas with the wooden buttons. You get to breathe in everybody's face at the bank, and you don't die of iPod poisoning, but you get to bang my producer. Fantastic. You get to boldly go. So many have gone before. And this actually wouldn't be the first bomb pop you've had inside you.
Oh, fuck.
There was something to tell people. What was I going to tell people? Wasn't there something? There was a thing. Hey, wait a minute. You know what? Actually, we could deal with this now, I guess. I was going to wait. I was going to pretend. I did the Los Angeles Podcast Festival
No, yeah.
over the weekend, folks. And I know a lot of you have tuned in here and you're thinking, oh my God, I can't wait to hear all about the Los Angeles Podcast Festival. But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and I'll get to that in just a second. But I can't go into great detail about it, and here's why. I did the show Sunday. I did the live show Sunday at the Sheraton at the LA Podcast Festival, and everybody came out. I can't thank enough people for coming out. Really cool people came out to the show, and I was excited to see them and meet them. People flew in from Texas, people flew in from the East Coast, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. It was amazing, and I will tell you this: not only were fans there, but some of my peers showed up, and they have never seen me do the show. They may hear the show on the podcast, or they may not. Let's be honest. But to see me do it live is a completely different thing. And I stress that to you people in Philadelphia and St. Louis, as those shows are coming up now. To see me live is completely different than to see this. Well, fuck it. It's exactly the same thing, but you get to see my face. You don't think it's the exact same thing? All right. Actually, you know what? I apologize. You don't get to see my face. Things have changed in the live presentation now. I'm going to come out in a full-on, like a Moominchans costume, and you can't see my face. I'm just going to be in a black body stocking against a black background. Can't see me, but you'll hear me. So the show on Sunday, I went ahead and I did it, and we taped that show, and that show is available now at MikeSchmidtComedy.com on the Joe Business page. It is a $5 download. In the spirit of Rob Delaney and Jim Gaffigan and Louis C.K. and Aziz Ansari, who went ahead and recorded specials, and they put them out for $5. I'm doing that with this episode. It's a story I've never told before. Well, first of all, there's a lot of stuff about the podcast festival. Maybe not a lot of stuff. I don't know. Who fucking knows? I have no clue. Is there? But there'll be the stuff that I did not bring to you today because I also didn't want to cheat people. Like all of a sudden, what if I did that? I talked all about the podcast festival, and then you bought it, and it was literally the same exact thing. But just with like a bigger laugh track than I have with Lily. I mean, then you're furious at me. But yeah, so it's out there for $5. And look, you guys have been cool and you support me all the time. You donate and you buy stuff, and that's great. And I would not offer this because I literally talked to Lily before I was going to talk about selling it. I said, hey, should we do this? She's like, yes, I think you should. And I said, well, it depends on how it goes. I said, I'm not going to offer some fucking piece of shit to anybody and just try to get cash. And then we were trying to figure out how much it was going to cost, all this bullshit. And then I walked out of there just going, I can't believe I did that. I couldn't. It was amazing. I walked outside, and Graham was there. Pat came. Francis, Matt Belknap. These guys came to see it, as well as fans, and then other friends of mine as well. Walked in and checked it out, and there was a buzz. Like I've had this happen before. I've told stories where I did stand up once in the Improv in what even Santa Monica Improv when I almost got evening at the Improv, and there was a buzz. I got like there were people talking about me and coming up to me, and like that thing where they're making glances, and this happened at the podcast festival. Because I fucking announced myself, motherfuckers. Nobody knows the fuck I am. They do. All right, let's start. Let me tell you this. So again, the special now is available. If you go to the Joe Business page on MikeSchmidtComedy.com, right now, I believe Schmitty Comes Alive is available for you to pick up. That's right. It's called Schmitty Comes Alive. So, and the way it works is, I should tell you this. Buy it tomorrow. I will be on a plane in the morning to Philadelphia. Tomorrow night, if there are orders, I'll be able to start filling them. But it's just like the download sets. You buy them and I'll send it to you. Once I get word that you've purchased it, then I will have to send it manually and the links and all that kind of stuff. I didn't put it on iTunes where you can immediately download it because I honestly, I don't want to hassle with them. I mean, I like going right to you. So if somebody gets something from iTunes and it doesn't work, and then I've got to call iTunes and figure out what didn't work, fuck that. Right now, I give you something. That's the way it works, and that's the way I always want to do it. So I hope you'll buy it, man. I mean, it is Because, again, all of the money that you guys donate, anything that you purchase goes right back into the show. It goes toward me being able to rent theaters and buy plane tickets and pay Lily the very small amount that she gets and that she deserves so much more. Same thing with Max. He needs so much more from me. But whatever you guys contribute, it all goes back into the show. And I will say this with full confidence, folks. That's right, full confidence. Not 80%, not 90% confidence. I bring 100% confidence to this statement. It's fucking worth it.
Yeah.
This fucking show, it's a story I've never told on here, and it went extremely well to the point where I floated out of the fucking room. I mean, I got a standing ovation, and it was just, well, not everybody. I mean, I don't want to, because now there are people who were there like, I didn't stand up. Well, a lot of people did. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you're a stick in the mud. Stand the fuck up. Look what I just did for you, motherfucker. Stand up. But yeah, it was great. I loved the podcast. It was totally fun. But this show is absolutely worth it. It's $5. It's available now at the Joe Business page. Schmitty Comes Alive. Go pick it up, please. I had a great time at the festival. I got to hang out. I don't get to do that very often, as I've said. I showed up Friday, went to the Sklar Brothers show, hung out with that, and checked out other podcasts and bailed. Saturday, I'll tell you, I can tell you about Saturday because I didn't cover this very. I had to do stand up on Saturday. And had to is absolutely the phrase that I would use because I got tricked into it. Chris was nice and he asked me to do it, and I kind of hemmed and hawed, and then you guys convinced me that I should. And I appreciate that because that's kind of what I needed. Lily told me I should do it, and then you guys were really nice, and people like Joshua and Mike, you guys know who you are, and you wrote me and told me that I should do this, and I appreciate it very much because I get in my head and I fucking freak myself out, and I say I can't do it because I haven't done any real short stand-ups. And look, let's talk about this for a second. I'm a fucking genius, all right? There's no doubt because I haven't done a short stand-up set that went well in bullshit. I did, I told the hooker story at the M Bar one night, and that went well. That was on my buddy Tom Hensley's show, who actually came to see me at the show the other night. But yeah, so I've done that. That was the last time I did good. But I mean, Andy Wood, another of the festival organizers, he saw me chew it at his fucking room, and I've talked about that on here. I bombed so badly. And any short set that I do, it's just I have to relearn even the craft or the art of stand-up. So that's why I was freaked out about Saturday, because going up Sunday, I do the long-form stuff every time I go out of town. And I will tell you this, I fucking crushed Sunday, and you'll hear it when you pick it up, all right? Schmitty Comes Alive. I don't know if it's available now. It is, right? $5? But it's fucking great, and I killed. And people came up to me and they go, when do you do this? Where do you do this? And I go, that's the first time I ever did that story. And the look on people's faces of just awe. This is fucking like, what? You're kidding, right? And I go, no. Because they think it's a fucking rehearsed, unbelievable thing that I've totally done a million times. No, I did a story for the first time ever on stage Sunday and got a fucking half a standing ovation out of it. I mean, it's that good. Because people, if they would listen to this fucking show, actually it wouldn't have been that good to people who listen to the show, maybe, because they know what I do. They wouldn't have been so surprised. I wouldn't have come out of fucking left field. They'd go, oh shit, that's what he does. He's amazing all the fucking time. No wonder Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick are comfortable in their Chinese pajamas. Of course. They can wear shiny pajamas and just kick back and go, that's my dad. But instead, it's snuck up out of fucking left field because they don't see it. And also, when you really think about it, look at it this way. Fucking other comics, they're performing every night to get their chops. They're going out. Dude, I'm fucking great without any practice. Fuck that. You know what? I'm the goddamn natural. I'm Roy Hobbs. Fuck that. I walked off stage, there's sparks. All right. It's funny because I told Graham that. That's an analogy I used for Graham because Graham did Stryker at Podsmack. I'll get to that. So yeah, I mean, people are just sitting there. And so when I did the stand-up set, I was freaked out. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it because long form I can do, even though I'm doing it once a month and I'm fucking great at it. But I was freaked out for Podsmash. I went Saturday. I went early and hung out because I wanted to check out Walking the Room. I went and saw Dave Anthony and Greg Barron's show. And I don't know if they're putting out their live episode, but you should check it out because it was fucking hysterical. I don't want to do it justice. Or I apologize. I want to tell you two things Greg said because they were fucking genius, but I can't because if they put their own episode out, I don't want to ruin it for you. But there were two things that fucking Dave was fucking hysterical too. But there were the two things that Greg said really that got me, and it was great. And I'll tell you this: I have rabid fans. You guys are great, and you write shows to get me on. You've written Rogan, you write the Sklars, you write Fitzsimmons. I met Greg and he was like, yeah, some of your people have written me because I thanked him for doing some of you bought space on his show to advertise my live show, which is amazing. And he was very nice to me on the air, and so I talked to him about it that day, and he's like, oh, yeah, he goes, I hear from your people all the time. And I'm like, that's awesome. Why am I not on your fucking show, Greg? But whatever. Good for you. But you know what? Because Greg's like me. Greg's kind of like, you're not going to fucking tell me what to do. It's my fucking show. You know what I mean? Like, part of me thinks there's that thing happening. I don't know. But it was cool to see him and hang out with him. But, I saw Walking the Room, and their fans are rabid. I mean, I saw so many Walking the Room shirts, so many Nope shirts. And in the room, those people were hanging on every word that Dave and Greg said. It was so cool to watch. And I felt the same way when I did my show. People were really into me and what I did, and they were right there for me. So I loved it. And to see their fans be just as rabid was great. It's just like Never Not Funny. I mean, there's people who worship Never Not Funny, and should, rightfully so. It's the best of the best. So when you see the fans who love something, it's great to watch. And the Podcast Festival was all about that. If you had a show that you like, you went to it and you loved it. It was just fantastic. Long Shot Podcast had a great crowd. The Sklar's had a great crowd. Everything was just so good. So Saturday, I got there early. I watched Walking the Room. And they were on in the afternoon. And then I got ready for Pod Smash. I was waiting for it. I went downstairs and I hung out with some people. And I hung out in the merch room, talked to people, and hung out. And I was nervous as fuck. Pod Smash was across the street. It's weird. All the shows were at the Sheraton in these different rooms. I was in the Cabria room with the 40-year-old boy. And then there was a giant ballroom. But the actual stand-up show was in a high school auditorium across the street. And we went over there. They had food trucks in the parking lot, which were awesome. And before Pod Smash was a Doug Loves Movies. So I was outside with my friends Heidi and Suzanne, and they were getting food at the food trucks. Then they told us we couldn't bring the food into the high schools. Everybody had to wolf their food in the parking lot. It was ridiculous. And then Lily was coming to the Pod Smash, but she was a little late, so she texted me, and I'm like, oh, you got to go here, got to go there. But I got into the theater, and it was packed. I mean, it was, what would you say, 500 people were in there? About that?
I saw 5 empty seats.
Yeah, 5 empty seats in this venue. And they said it held 1,200, but I just can't imagine it held 1,200. That seems high. But it looked like there was at least 500 people in this place. And so I walked in, and Doug Loves Movies goes on, and they brought out Dave Anthony, Steve Agee, Todd Glass, Mark Maron, and Zach Galifianakis, which is known in the business as a lineup. And they came out and crushed it and improvised and did a ton of stuff, and they were amazing. And I was in the back because the stand-up show was after them. And I said, is there a running order? And they said, yes, you're second. And I was a little freaked out. I was following Will Anderson, who is an Australian comic, and very funny. I had seen him at Walking the Room earlier in the night and met him in the elevator. Charming fellow. So I was going to go after Will. And everybody was doing 10 minutes or 7 minutes a set. And I was freaked out. I was texting Lily, and I was like, all right, I'll tell you this. Lily said she was coming to the show, and she's like, where is it? And I said, it's across the street at the high school. And so she had to hustle over. And she said, we're here now. And she got in while Doug Loves Movies was still playing. And so I texted her. I said, okay. I said, I'm second, and I think I'm going to get out of here right when I'm finished. Because I don't want to. That's my thing. It's my weird curse. I don't want to sit there and do my set and then be mediocre or not good even, and then have to sit there and watch everybody else be great, and then after the show have people come up and go, oh, yeah, you were okay. That's a death. So I was like, I'm just going to take off when I'm done. And I felt guilty making Lily come out, because I even told her, you don't have to come to this thing because I'm probably going to leave right when I'm finished. And she says, no, I want to be there. So I texted her and I said, look, I'm second, and then I'm probably just going to take off when I'm done. And she's like, all right, I understand. You're going to be great. Looking forward to it. It's excited. This huge crowd. And then I wrote her back. I go, listen to me. There's a big crowd. But what, do you still have it? Oh, okay. You want me to read it? All right. All right. I texted her and I wrote this. This is what I wrote to Lily on Saturday. By the way, do not laugh. Seriously, you'll be the only one. If I'm doing well, okay. But otherwise, don't. You saved that? That's funny. That's the text message I sent to her. And she's like, you're crazy. You're going to be fine. And but I don't care. I was in the back. Out front, Doug Loves Movies is killing. And I know that I'm second. So I did not have any idea what I was going to do stand-up wise. All right. I sat down the night before and I started to plot out my set. and I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I was thinking of some things, and I knew for sure a couple of jokes I was going to do. And, it's so funny. I'll do on the road 3 hours, and I don't even think about it. But this was 7 minutes, and I was freaked the fuck out about it because I didn't know. I can't tell a story in 7 minutes. You guys know that. Fuck. I talked about making out with the Hansons for an eyeball for 7 fucking minutes, and that crowd would just stare at me, including the Hansons. They would have been furious. But so I'm in the back, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And before, I should tell you this: during the day at my house, I'm getting ready to go to the podcast festival, and I don't know what the fuck I'm going to talk about. And I'm thinking of doing stand-up, and I don't know when I'm on. And this stand-up show has Todd Glass, Mark Maron, Dave Anthony, Greg Behrendt. All of the heavy hitters from the festival are going to be on it, and me. And I don't know where I'm at, who I'm between, who I'm following. All that has to be taken into account. So Doug Loves Movies is out there killing it. I know I'm following Will Anderson, but during the day when I'm home and I'm thinking about it, I don't know who I'm following, and I'm trying to figure out what stand-up I'm going to do, and I actually start to think, and I'm like, well, I was going to write a whole new 10 minutes for this fucking show. I'm like, don't do that, dude. That's a weird risk. And then it dawned on me, Saturday, as I'm in the shower, I decided, well, dude, you could write stuff about the festival and basically make it a roast and just burn the fuck out of everybody at the festival. And don't, just literally in my head, I just went, go burn the place to the fucking ground and walk out. Because I'm kind of an outsider there anyway. And the bullshit, I'm not an outsider. I knew everybody in the festival. But in my head, because nobody knows my show, or I'm kind of an afterthought at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just the fucking evil stepbrother, so I'll just go out and do that. I'll burn this fucking place to the ground and then walk out of here with my head held high while it just is in flames behind me. Because that's my inclination, is to ruin things, folks. And also, when they had the program, they took everybody else's headshot, but for some reason they took artwork for me to use as my avatar. And the thing is, they picked my favorite artwork that Mex has ever done, which is the burning bridge. We put it on the front of the calendar for a reason. It's my favorite one that he's ever done. It's literally the bridge burning with the gas can and me leaning, just smiling like, yeah, fuck yeah, I burned it on purpose. So I was like, well, fuck, that'll dovetail right into that for me in my head. Nobody else will know. Nobody else will care, but I don't give a fuck. I'll do it. So I started to write roast material about the people at the show. I was going to bury the long shot. I was going to bury the Sklar's. I was going to bury Walking the Room. I was going to do all this stuff. And Andy Dick had a show. He was going to do a podcast there, and then he pulled out the night before. So I'm like, well, fuck, I'll rip Andy Dick. I'll rip all this. It's going to be great. I'm going to just go in and just like a nihilist. I'm going to crush this place. So I get to the shows on Saturday, and I poke my head. I see some of Fitzsimmons, and Fitzsimmons is making fun of Andy Dick and making fun of the podcast festival. And then I go watch Walking the Room, and their entire first 10 to 15 minutes is making fun of Andy Dick and making fun of the podcast festival. Everybody in the building is a nihilist. It's hard to burn everything to the ground when you're standing in a pile of cinders. Everybody is self-aware. Everybody is in the moment, and everybody is the same person I am. They all want to, their inclination is to make fun of everything and destroy everything in their path. And it took the wind right out of my fucking sails. I mean, it killed me because I was like, fuck, I was going to do all this, and I thought I'd be the fresh new guy. Everybody else is going up to do stand-up, and then I come out and fucking torch the place and make everybody go. And again, this is part of my way. I told you, I think I'd rather have people go, ooh, than laugh. Okay. So, but then when I saw everybody else was kind of doing it, I went, well, fuck, you're not going to be anything new. You're just going to be another guy shitting on everything. You can't do that. But unfortunately, I'm not happy all the time. You know what I mean? My stand-up isn't like, la-da-da, yay, isn't everything great? I mean, it does have kind of that edge of this blows. So then I said, well, fuck, I got to go back and do regular material. And this was the day, this is now 5 o'clock, the night of Pod Smash. I decide to change back to doing regular material, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what material to do. I don't know what to bring. And the thing is, I'm making everybody else miserable. I know I was, because I'm in the back of the room. If you were at the show, Doug Loved Movies, they were on stage and there was the big curtain. Well, I was behind that curtain freaking out. That's exactly where I was. It's not even a joke, because there was a green room. But I didn't want to sit in the green room with Chris and the other comics because I had to think of what I was going to talk about. And they were making conversation. They're all comfortable because they know what they can do, all right? Well, I was freaked. I didn't want to fucking go out in front of people and choke. And I knew I was going up second, so I had to really be in the moment and I had to be ready. And those guys were crushing, and every wave of laughter that came out of Doug Love's movies made me realize that I had no business being in the auditorium. I had no business being in the room. I had no business being in the festival. I had no business being in the fucking state. I should be back in Chicago making pizza. It was like all of that shit flooded into my fucking brain. And I know you think I'm crazy, but that's the way it is. My favorite line that I've seen the past couple weeks, my friend Karen Kilgariff, and she's not my friend, I've met her once, but I follow her on Twitter, and she had a show one night, and she just wrote, "It's not until an hour before my show when I realize I don't want to do comedy." And that's exactly it. Except for the fact that where it's an hour before. I mean, I'm like that all the time before, like the day of, and I'm freaking out. But then the second you get on stage and you do it and you get your first laugh, it changes everything. It changes everything in your head, in your demeanor. It changes everything. But until then, I'm a goddamn jittery mess. So I'm in the back, and I'm talking to Andy Wood, and I'm talking to Chris Mancini and Graham. They keep coming up to me and going, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about." And they go, I go, "You have a list?" They go, "Yeah, you're second." I go, "I know I'm second. That's going to be weird, following Will." And the thing is, I followed Ron Lynch. I followed funny people before at the improvs and everything, and never thought twice about it because I used to think I was good at this. All right? I used to be a cocky motherfucker. And to this, I am now still, but really not. No? That's a lot of weird talking. I did it on purpose. You know how it is. I've told you this a billion times, and I don't know if you're tired of fucking hearing me talk about, "Oh, I don't think I'm good," whatever the fuck. So I'm in the back, and you're tired of it, hearing out of the show over and over. Imagine how guys who do this for a living feel about it. And I told you that's one of the reasons I stopped working with Jimmy. Pardo got tired of me in the green room just like gripping over a 30-minute set. He's like, why is this so terrible for you? And I don't know, because I'm good at it and I like doing it. I really do it. It's a privilege. I can't. It's something in my fucking head. I got to figure it out. I need therapy, folks. So, and by the way, if you think I need therapy, go ahead and pick up Schmitty Comes Alive for $5. All of that money goes churned right back in to fixing my tiny brain. Although, if we fix my brain, maybe the show isn't any good. Maybe you don't want to do that. All right. I just talked you out of buying it. I'm an idiot. All right, so I'm in the back, and I'm sitting separately from everybody else. And I take a chair, and I sit, and I was almost right behind the curtain. Everybody else was in the green room behind me. And then comics started trickling and saying hello. And I started to get really kind of upset and weirded out. And I was telling guys, I'm like, I haven't done this in a long time. I haven't done it in 3 years. I'm really weirded out, whatever. And they were very nice and tolerant, but then they would fucking get away from me as soon as they could because they didn't want to hear that. They had their own thing to worry about. They had to go up and do it. And, I was really freaked out and I was bad backstage. Okay. Until Doug Love's Movies ended. And then it went into like this weird hyperdrive of how freaked out I was. Because, now I knew the show was about to start. So I asked Graham and I go, "What's the downtime between shows?" He goes, "None. We're doing right into it." And I was like, fuck. I knew Andy Wood was going out on the stage. And then he was going to bring out Will Anderson to do 10 and then me. So I knew now I had at least 15 minutes before I was on. So you start doing that weird countdown in your head. And then all the guys from Doug's show came in the back. And Doug was real nice. He said hi and came up to me. And I know all those guys. I saw Mark backstage. I talk about that on Schmitty Comes Alive. I saw some people and was able to say hi and talk to them. But the best part is, I know Doug in passing, and he's always very friendly to me because he recognizes me. And he'll see me and say hello. He's not a guy you have to chase for a hi. Zach is always friendly to me. They were very nice. They say hello. But Todd Glass, he knows me because he knew me as Jimmy's guy. A lot of people knew me as Jimmy's guy. So whenever Jimmy was there, I would be there. I'd write on Jimmy's shows. And when I had to deal with Todd or anybody who did, the podcast, anything, I was always there. Well, I haven't seen these guys in forever, but they still recognize me. And that's why I said they're very friendly and they say hi. Well, Todd Glass, he comes up and he starts doing bits with me. He comes up and out of nowhere, he just comes up with like a shawl and he just put it on my shoulder. He goes, "Sir, I picked this because I felt black was your color." And so we started to do like a little sketch about shawls and it calmed me down so much because it made me go, "Oh, I'm his peer." Todd sees me not as some fucking idiot who's going to go on stage and bomb. Todd sees me as him. I'm him. And he's comfortable enough to come over and joke with me, and he gave me a hug. He's like, "How you been?" And he was really friendly and nice. Because, again, if you don't know Todd, if you only know him from his shows, he's that guy. He's so awesome. I can't even explain to you how great Todd Glass is in real life as well as funny. I mean, his funny is without peer. I mean, it's just this ridiculous, bottomless well of incredible brilliance. But also as a guy, he's just gregarious and nice to everybody. Because sometimes he'll be fake grouchy, but he's doing it for laughs. He's so great. So he comes up and starts doing bits with me, and it calmed me right down. And he walked away, and I immediately became freaked out again. Like I was like, Todd, you're my security blanket. Don't go away. Bring back the shawl. Let's joke. Because now they're getting the things set up. They're taking the chairs off the stage, and they're getting ready for the stand-up show. And then Andy Wood takes a microphone. He just walks out on stage. So now we're that much closer to having it start, and I'm freaking out. And I'm like, all right, well, Will's going to go up first. So I go over to Graham, and I go, hey, I go, where's Will? Because he's conspicuous by his absence. Everybody else is there. I don't see Will. And Graham's like, Will's on a plane to Australia. I said, what? He goes, yeah, he couldn't make it. He was really sad. He did walking the room, and then unfortunately he had to take off and get right to the airport. I go, well, he was first. And he goes, yeah, so whoever's second is first. And I go, that's me. And he goes, oh, yeah, okay, well, you're up first. And my stomach did a fucking triple Lindy, all right? If you've ever seen Back to School, you know what that is. It's like Rodney Dangerfield off 3 fucking diving boards. I was like, what the fuck? Because now, following Will Anderson was going to be weird enough. But in my head, I'm like, I can follow Will Anderson. You know, he's from Australia. What the fuck? Shrimps, Barbies, I got it. But now I'm going to have to follow Doug Loves Movies with all of the dudes. Like, I have to walk into the fucking teeth of everybody's apathy as they wonder where Doug went. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh fuck, this is gonna be awful. So Andy Wood goes out on stage, and I'm in the wings, and I'm watching Andy, and he's talking to people, and he's talking about the festival, and then he's doing actual stand up, and people were with him, and I'm in the wings, and I'm waiting, and the crowd they were making huge laugh sounds for Doug Loves Movies, but now they're being a polite, cool stand-up crowd, and that's a weird switch, okay? If you're in a crowd and you're watching nonstop hilarity of 6 extremely funny guys going at it on stage to one guy with a microphone, it's a focus issue more than anything else, because you were just being bombarded with a sensory overload of comedy. And now you have to focus on one dude and what he's saying. You're trying to bring in everything when there's 6 guys doing it, but with one guy, you know exactly where you're supposed to focus, and it's a weird switch. So Andy's out there, and he's getting them worked up, and he's doing his best to get them focused, and he's doing great. And I'm in the wings, waiting to go on, and I'm freaking out. I'm freaked. Because, again, I was sitting down, and I was trying to decide what I was going to do. And I didn't know if I was going to do regular material, or I still wanted to do some of the roast material. And in my head, I went, you know what, if I'm going first, I can still do some of the roast stuff, because these guys have not seen every show be nihilistic. So I will have the advantage of going up and being the first guy to shit on everything. Now it's like, I'll be the first flamethrower. Okay. I will be the guy. I will cast the first stone. I am without sin, folks. I get to go out there, cast the first stone, and get in my car and get the fuck out of there. Well, everybody has to follow in my wake as smoke is all over the fucking place. So I'm in the wings. Andy's doing his time, and Andy does about 10. And he's going on, and the crowd did not leave. I will tell you that after Doug Loves Movies, nobody fucking left. That was another thing. I was like, all right, well, it'll be empty, and it'll be fine. Nope. So I'm standing in the wings, and Andy goes, all right, are you guys ready to get the show underway? And I'm fucking freaked, and my stomach's weirded out, but in my head, I have a general idea of what I'm going to do. I know how I'm going to start. I know what I'm going to do. And I'm in the wings, and Andy goes, all right, let's bring him up. You know what? You just saw him up here as part of the Doug Love Movies ensemble. Ladies and gentlemen, please put together, you saw his earlier podcast, Mr. Todd Glass. And Todd bounds on stage from the wings on the other side of the stage. And I'm in the wings stage right. Todd comes on stage left. And I'm standing there, and it was a huge bucket of cold water. Because I had finally steeled myself in the face of this weird adversity. I had finally decided, you know what, fuck this, dude. You're funny. Go up and be funny and don't care, and you're first, and it's going to be great. And then he brings out Todd, and it just kneecapped me. I was just like, what the fuck? So then Andy Wood walks off stage, and I walk out, and I go, why is Todd up? And he goes, oh, he asked me if he could go first. I told him, yeah. And Graham comes over and he goes, we have a list. You know, there's a list of guys, and Mike was first, and Andy goes, oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'll bring you up right next. And I'm like, yeah, but now I got to follow Todd. And he goes, well, so? I mean, it'll be fine. You're going to do great. And I'm like, you think that, but I don't think that. You think I'll do great. I don't think I'll do great. I'm worried about doing great. And now I got to follow Todd, who's going to do great. And Andy Wood just looks at me like I am a fucking bug. Like he has no idea. Because you know what? Look, they deal with comics all the time, and Andy's a comic. Andy puts together the Bridgetown Festival and stuff, so he's used to crazy, but not used to that kind of weird crazy, I guess. Because I'm just full of self-loathing, and I don't even want to fucking do it because I don't think I can do it. I mean, I know I can, but I don't think I can. And especially having to go up after Todd, it's just, I don't know if this just gets to me and my psyche and making an effort. Maybe that's what it is. I want to have everything effortlessly handed to me. I don't know. I can't figure it out. So Todd goes on, and he's doing extremely well. And then Graham goes, bring Mike up next. And Andy's like, okay. And he comes over to me. He goes, Mike, I'm really sorry. And I go, it's not you. It's it's me, dude. I'm just gripped because I haven't been on, and I haven't done this in 3 years, and I'm freaked. I said, you know what? You saw the last set I did. I did it in your fucking room and bombed miserably to the point where I made it a focus point to talk about on my show. And he goes, but you didn't bomb. It was just a weird mix-up with the light. And I go, but I was bombing before that. You're being very nice, but you know that I was bombing. And meanwhile, Todd, tick, 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 time's ticking away. So Andy gets away from me because he wants nothing to do with my weird energy. And everybody's in the back, and they're being very cool with one another, and they're talking. And I'm just alone. I'm on an island. I'm off by myself. And Andy goes over there, and then Todd is like, hey, well, good night. And Todd leaves. And I'm in the wings, and I'm just freaked out. And, I said when I did the one-man show in San Francisco the first time, Lily said something to me. She's like, these people love you. They're here to see you. And Mech said the same thing. He goes, those people are here to see you. So I made it almost like a mantra backstage. Where I was like, I would breathe and say to myself, these people love you. These people love you. So go out there and just do what you do. These people love you. So I couldn't do that this time because these people didn't love me. They don't know who the fuck I am. They love Todd. They love Mark. They love Steve. They love Zach. They love Doug. They love Dave and Andy and Graham and Chris and Dave and all those people. Greg Barron. They love all those dudes. And I'm just happen to be there. They put me on the list. So I can't even use that as my mantra. But what I can say is, dude, you've been doing this half your life. Just go do the thing that you can do. Just fucking do it. So Andy goes on stage, and he, Todd Glass, everybody, and he talks. And I should tell you this. Also, as I was freaking out, I was by myself backstage when Todd was finishing up. And, I had made a very big point of telling everybody that I had never been on and nobody knew who I was. And I was a pain in the fucking ass is what I was. And Chris Mancini, who's the co-host of Comedy Film Nerds, he's a friend of mine, and he was one of the 4 organizers of the festival. He came up to me, he saw me standing there by myself, and he looks at me and he goes, you don't have to worry. I said, yeah, but I do. He goes, no, you don't. He goes, these people know who you are. I said, well, yeah, some people are here to see the 40-year-old boy. I go, but those people might not be in the building or whatever. And he goes, no. He goes, you don't understand. He goes, they know you from our show. And we get email telling us how great you are on our show. They know you from Never Not Funny. They know you from Adam Carolla's show. They know you from when you did Mark's show. You don't understand. Everybody here has heard you somewhere. You think they don't know who you are and they don't know what your show is. You did the Sklar Brothers show this week. Everybody knows who you are. You're going to be fine. And when he said that, I didn't process it. I thought about it. And I was like, well, that's cool, and I'm glad that you're saying that. But it did make its way. Some of it made its way through my wall of crazy to where it actually hit me in the fucking brain pan. And I went, yeah, you know what? That makes sense. But I didn't put a lot of credence in it until Andy Wood went on stage. And he said, Todd Glass, everybody. And then he started to talk, and he goes, all right, let's keep the show moving. He goes, our next guest is... he's going to be here tomorrow night. He's the host of the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. And when he said that, people cheered. Probably a quarter of the auditorium, maybe a third. Not even my name, not even the polite applause that they have to give a performer when he comes on stage. But when he said the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, about a third of the people were like, yeah, and started clapping. And that did it. That was the trigger to make me go, you know what, dude, you're a fucking idiot. Do what you do. People are here to see you do what you fucking do. Go own this motherfucker. And he said, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Schmidt. And I have enough pro wrestler in me to where when I walk out, like I feel like I'm ready to just kind of fight, like that kind of thing. So when people, that really helped. It really helped when people cheered when he said the name of the podcast, because in my head, along with what Chris had told me, because Chris definitely had softened the blow quite a bit. But then when people cheered when they heard the name of the podcast, that was it. I was like, oh, fuck this. Yeah, it's me. That's right. I'm Mike Schmidt, right? So I walked on stage, and I had, it was just in complete balls. I mean, I had absolute swagger. And I got on stage, man, and I fucking destroyed it. Like I decided to go roast, but here was the caveat I had, because I knew I was only doing like 7 minutes. So and look, I will completely say this: I cheated. Okay, I didn't really do stand up. I did a couple of jokes from my act at the end, which was fine, but in the beginning it was all roasting podcasting, which is extremely funny and was great, but at the same time, it's a cheat. I mean, I didn't do my real act, but I know Lily's pissed. She's like, you didn't cheat, and everybody said that later because I said it was a cheat, but whatever the fuck. In my head, I'm like, well, but you know what? I did what I had to do to fucking survive. I did what I did, and I was funny. I was fucking funny because I went out and I can tell you this, all right? I walked out and I said a big round of applause for the guys running the festival. And I said, they actually tried to get more people for the show, but some people were in and then they backed out and some people just couldn't do it. I said, Adam Carolla was actually supposed to be here. They went and contacted Adam Carolla, and he said he was going to do the show. And then he found out that there were other podcasters involved, and he backed out immediately. Because he didn't figure there was going to be enough air in Santa Monica for him and other podcasters to fucking talk for 3 fucking days. Because literally, he saw it as a way to go out and do his 3-day run about exhaust manifolds. He thought it was going to be all about him. And people laughed and kind of oohed that. I said, they did get Allison Rosen from the Adam Carolla show. Allison Rosen is here to do her podcast. I think she only started a podcast to prove that she had a voice. That's the only reason I think she did it, because quite frankly, I thought she was engineered in a lab to point and laugh at Adam. I thought that's what she was. And that got, so what I decided to do, as you can tell, was I went after the people who weren't at the festival, because I felt if I went after the Sklar's or I went after other shows that were there, the fans of those shows would rebel because they don't know me, and they would then be angry at me for going after their favorite shows. Because my fans, if a guy went out and started making fun of the 40-year-old boy, my fans would be like, hey, fuck you, you asshole. So instead, I decided to make fun of all the people that weren't there because I'm a chicken. Because then I went on and I said, hey, Andy Dick was here. He was here today. He actually did a bunch of guest spots and fucked up other people's shows, but he was supposed to do his own show, and he pulled out of it. And everybody was shocked that he pulled out. But I said to the guys, I go, did you tell him it was a podcast festival? And they said, yeah. I go, see, that's the problem. If you would have told him it was a 19-year-old Filipino boy, he never would have pulled out of it. And that got like this weird, but then a laugh too. And I just I did this thing where I put my hands up like, really, guys? You're honestly, because, I don't fuck around. I mean, it's like, I wish to God I could write for those roasts, because the camaraderie would be dead. I mean, like, everybody would hate everybody. Because then I talked about my show, and I said, my show is just me talking. It's just one guy. But on the program, on the website, they said that I have a guest. They said Aubrey O'Day is going to be on my show. And I said, I really hope Aubrey O'Day likes talking about me, because otherwise it's going to be one boring fucking show. I said, why is Aubrey O'Day even fucking here? She did Risk. Do you know that Aubrey O'Day did Risk? What risk has Aubrey O'Day ever taken in her life? To go out with a shirt that didn't show her nipples? What the fuck? The only risky thing Aubrey O'Day has ever done in her life was deciding not to swallow the day she blew Donald Trump to get on The Apprentice. And everybody was just like, oh, but also laughs. And I was just, because I took a torch to it. I just decided, I go, Kevin Smith was supposed to be here, but unfortunately, turns out, too fat to fly into Santa Monica. I said, right now he's at a terminal in the Burbank airport eating everything. And boring a Korean tour group with that fucking John Peters put a spider in Superman story. What the fuck? We get it, all right? You were going to do Superman, you didn't get to do it, and now you're still mad 1,000 years later. John Peters is an asshole, but even he's not talking about this anymore. And also, by the way, he couldn't come on a Saturday because Saturday every week is when Kevin Smith hides Jason Mewes' heroin. And the best part of it was there were people who were like, oh, and then laughing, but then there were people in the audience who were like, yeah, because they know what the fuck I do. I'm a dick to everybody. And then I did like 3 more jokes to get out of there, and that was the burning of the people at the festival, and then I did stand up, like straight stand up jokes from my actual act, and owned the place. Like I knew it, I felt it. And it wasn't the best set of the night, certainly. I mean, there were other people who came out and crushed. Jackie Cation did an amazing job. Everybody was really good. But it didn't matter. For me, it was exactly what I needed to accomplish. Because I was funny, I killed, I got oohs, I got laughs, and people knew who the fuck I was when it was over. And I turned around to walk off, and Andy Wood was just shaking his head. And he's like, what the fuck were you worried about? And I went backstage. And the other comics, of course, they didn't watch me. They shouldn't. I mean, they're busy doing their thing because it's comedy. It's their work. You know, I mean, it's like if you went it's like if you worked in a grocery store, you went shopping, and then you started stocking shelves while you were there. It's like, no, fuck that. You're not interested. But when I went backstage, everybody knew that I was a weirdo. So when I came in the back, then people came up and they go, how did it go? And I go, it went really good. And they go, of course it did. Because they knew, and so Andy Wood came in the back, and I go, I got to apologize to you. He goes, no, you don't. I go, yeah, I do. I go, I freaked you out because you were going on stage, and I go, my energy was all fucking weird, and I haven't done this in forever. And he was real nice about it, and everybody was very cool as I fucking talked myself back into being a comedian. And I went out to the lobby from the green room. I went out there, and people were great. They watched me walk by, and they high-fived me, and they came up to talk to me. And I was going to split, like I said. I wanted to go say hi to Lily, though. And but then in my head, I'm like, I can't leave. I need people to tell me how great I was. Why would I leave? So I did. I hung out, and I watched the rest of the show, and I was happy I did. Because, I saw Jackie, I got to see Greg, I got to see Mark. Everybody went out there and killed. They fucking, each person better than the last. And I went to grab a water in the back of the green room again. I was making my way walking around, and I walked back there, and there's Graham, and he's wearing his Detective Ken Stryker costume, his outfit. And I literally, they must have heard me outside, because when I walked behind, I went backstage, and there, someone was on stage doing stand-up when I did it. It might have been Sam Tripoli. And then I walked out in the back, and I saw the outfit, and I went, no! Because I was so happy he was going to do Stryker. He's like, yeah. He goes, Kulop mentioned it. And then I thought about it. And, I guess maybe because some people don't remember it. And he hadn't done it in 6 years. And if you haven't seen Detective Ken Stryker, I think it's on YouTube. You can find it. It's just fucking amazing. It's just Graham doing this ridiculous character. It's an ex-cop who's off the force. And I can't even do it justice. So, but I was so happy. I think I skipped out of the back area. And I went outside. And he was closing the show as Stryker. And I told Lily, I go, I'm not leaving. I go, he's doing Stryker. And I've made Lily watch it on YouTube fucking 100 times. So we're in the lobby waiting. And then we go out into the room and we watch people do stand-up. And we, making our way around. And some people wanted to talk to me, so I'd go out in the lobby. And Eddie was there. We were hanging out. And then it came time for Stryker. And I said, we got to go in there. And we went in. And Andy Wood starts the intro. And even the intro is perfect. When he go, it's because we're in a high school, we have to have a segment that's community outreach. So we have a retired police officer here who'd like to speak to you. And I just immediately started clapping because I was so excited. I was like a kid. It was Christmas. And there were a couple people in the audience who knew what it was. Because here's the thing. Remember when Chris told me people know me from all these other shows? Well, people know Graham from Never Not Funny and from Doug's show and from Film Nerds. Graham is known, throughout the podcasting world. And Stryker has always been referenced. But a lot of these people have no idea what it is because, again, he hasn't done it in 6 years. So when they hear that he's going to do it, like there was this weird electricity that went through the room real quick, and I think I was part of the conduit of it because I was like, literally, I'm like a little kid in my seat doing this. I'm so happy. And they introduce him. They go, ladies and gentlemen, Detective Ken Stryker. And he walks out in the outfit and just owns the place. I won't do it justice. He does these weird, I won't do it justice, but he's just in full command of the room the second he walks out, and he does this stance. Like he gets to the microphone, he stands like a cop, like kind of like, like he dresses to the left, but he's standing to the right, like his cock hurts. I mean, it's just this weird stance. And it's like he's got 80-pound balls. I mean, he just is in control of the fucking room. And I don't want to give away the narrative. I don't want to do that. But I could not stop laughing. And I was making an ass of myself to the point where, because people also in the room, because they know me from shows, they know what I laugh like. So I start laughing, and then they laugh because I laughed. And then he actually walks over to the side of the stage and he calls me out from the stage, which was fucking amazing. But he crushed it, and he got a standing ovation. Like people stood up because it was they'd never seen it before, and it's so different from what he does now that when you see it, you go, oh, fuck, there's that. He can do that too. Graham's the funniest guy ever. So it was amazing. And then afterwards, we're hanging out talking, and he came out in the striker outfit in the lobby, and people were very nice. They came up to me, and I signed a bunch of stuff, and people bought shirts. So Saturday was a huge success. And then I split, and then I went back to my work, and I shoveled garbage. That was fun. If this weekend taught me anything, it's that I need to be fucking doing this, and I need to be doing it all the goddamn time. I mean, I wish I could do the one man every week in different cities. But just Sunday was such a revelation for me to go up and do what I did and have it be so well received, and it crushed. And you can hear it; it's available. I've talked about that. And then Saturday to do stand up and do extremely well, and have people and to be a peer and to be accepted. It made me feel great. I was so happy, and the fans were so cool too. All the people who came in from out of town who met me, Barry, this guy Barry with his wife Mary, and their friend Jane, who were cool, and Jen came in from Texas. Jen came in from Texas by herself for the festival, and then she stayed off-site. She didn't stay in the hotel, and she's like, oh, I rented a bike. And I'm like, who the fuck rents a bike? Like, I wouldn't even know how to do that, and I've lived here for fucking 15 years. She's been here a day or an hour and rented a goddamn bike. Which is good for her, because I offered her like a ride. When I found out she was alone and she didn't have a way to get anywhere, I offered her a ride, because the last thing I wanted her to do was get on the fucking bus. I mean, I'm like, oh man, you can't get on the fucking bus, not in a strange town. I mean, look, nobody wants to get on the bus in any town. I don't know what it's like in fucking Texas, anywhere. We've talked about it. We don't want to, you know why? Because nothing good happens on the bus. Nothing at all. Did you see the fucking girl get punched in the face on the bus? Did you see? You didn't see it? You lie. Fuck. You know what? I want to wait right now while you see it. We have to. Done. Hold on. This is the 40-year-old boy, and coming up later, Mitchell Angel's favorite cunts. Yeah. Okay. So we're back, and you saw it, right? You saw what happened. If you haven't seen it, everybody has. And I'm pissed because it happened last week on like Thursday, so I didn't get to talk about it on Wednesday's fucking show. But there was a woman on a bus. I don't even know what fucking city it was in. Cincinnati? Who the fuck knows? I don't care. It doesn't matter. But there's a woman on a bus, and she's screaming and screaming and screaming at the fucking bus driver, and she won't stop screaming. Cleveland? It was in Cleveland, yeah. And she's yelling and yelling at the bus driver, and then he's yelling back, and then he's kind of like, he's old, so he has like that old man kind of calm about him. And he says my favorite thing that he says, he goes, it looks like someone sliced your face up. Like, it's just this weird mud bone way to say something, just like ridiculous. And people laugh, of course, ha ha ha, because he's basically driving the Apollo around Cleveland, all right? It's like, I don't know when they did it, but the Sandman is there. He's ready to, and it's crazy. So he's driving the Apollo around Cleveland. Everybody's yelling and laughing and ha-ha. And then the chick she's yelling at him, and they're yelling back and forth. And it's a woman, it looks like a teenage girl. And she's screaming at him. And then when he says, it looked like somebody sliced your face up, she hits him. Okay? She goes up and she hits him as he's driving the bus. So this guy, of course, because he's well-versed in being a bus driver in the inner city, he stops the bus. And he gets up, and you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, go find it. Just go to YouTube and put in bus driver uppercut Cleveland. It'll come up. And he stands up, and the woman and she even says like, oh, well, now it's on, blah, blah, blah. And he stands up, and he throws an uppercut from... Now, normally it's funny when you'd say somebody didn't see a punch coming. It's like he threw an uppercut from the floor, or from his ankles, or from last week, or no bullshit. This guy threw an uppercut from the first time anybody ever did anything bad to him. He reached back with his fist through his past and grabbed every terrible emotion he's ever had in his life that has led him to be a bus driver in the inner city, driving the Apollo around Cleveland and getting hit by a teenage girl. He grabbed all of that angst, all of that rage, and he loaded it up in a right hand that he brought right from 1968, and he punched her in the face. Just this amazing uppercut, and you hear it. It makes this wet sound, like somebody slapped a shark. I mean, it is the craziest punch. It is like in old-time radio, they used to hit meat with frying pans to make the sound of a punch. They now have retired that forever. If old time radio comes back, they got this punch that they'll use forever from now on. And when he hits her, it's crazy because the bus just erupts in white noise. Just this crazy sound of people screaming and laughing and yelling, and they're jumping, and she gets laid out, and then he grabs her by the hair and he throws her off the fucking bus. Just throws her off. And then, all right, now look, that's impressive. That he would throw that crazy uppercut from his childhood, from the first time his dad ever whipped him. He throws this motherfucking right hand, this uppercut floors her, and then he grabs her by the hair and he throws her off the bus. Impressive? Not as impressive as this undead teenage girl staggering back onto the bus for more. Are you fucking kidding me? You just got hit with a rage uppercut from fucking 1968 and you're clawing your way back on for more of a fight? You gotta be kidding me. And look, I've been hit in a fight and your adrenaline goes and you don't think about what happened, but there's no way she should even be moving at this point, let alone coming back for more. And the people are going crazy, and now they're yelling at the bus driver because he hit a female. And look, again, this is a weird thing. Like, this is a confluence of two of my rules that I live by coming together in one bus in Cleveland. You don't hit women, no matter what. You don't put your hands on a woman, no matter what happens. But don't do dumb shit if you don't want dumb shit to happen to you. We've said it a million times. She's talking shit. She's yanging the guy. She's yelling and screaming. She's all over it. And then he insults her and gets a laugh and she loses her mind and she hits him. She hit him first. So he needs to pull the bus over, call the cops, and go through all that bullshit. And then, believe me, there's nothing worse than not being able to hit somebody when you really want to hit somebody. And she hit him first, and so he could, but you don't hit women. You don't. Yes, she deserved it. She deserved to get punched. She absolutely deserved it. No doubt. But you don't, but you know what? He can't do it. He can't. You can't. You don't hit women. You just don't. But don't do dumb shit if you don't want dumb shit to happen to you. And that's exactly what she did. She hit him first and then called him out. When he stand up, she's like, it's on. And he's like, yeah, it's on. And I remember earlier I had a hippo hurricane holler where I blew breath all over the guy in the bank. This guy hippo hurricane holler her with a fist. Like he's just like, he wound up for fucking ever. God damn it. Every fucking frustration, every divorce, every woman who ever said no to him, every job he never got was in that right hand and he hit her right in the face with it. And she stuck it. She fucking stuck the landing. He grabbed her by her hair and threw her out of the bus. She climbed back on like a zombie and went right after him. And then it was a huge pull apart and a big fucking schmoz and everybody's getting hit in the face and nobody knows what's happening. And she's screaming and she's like, you're going to jail. It's like, dude, you hit him first. You know you're going to jail too, right? You know that's on film, right? You can't just talk shit and expect to get away with it. That's the problem. Everybody talks shit and they do stupid things and they're surprised when bad things happen to them. Don't do dumb shit if you don't want dumb shit to happen to you. Don't fucking open the door if you don't want Dracula to come in. You invite a vampire into your house, you're going to get fucking bit. If Dracula parks his bus outside and he comes to the fucking door, don't invite him in because he will bite you. So she gets up and then, he fucking knees her a couple times in the face and he lays her flat and then she's still trying to go for more and people are separating them. And the best part is then she says, hey, my man's going to kick your ass and my dad's going to kick your ass too. Well, you probably have a cell phone. You could have just called your dad and your fucking man to meet you at the next bus stop and then they could have beat the shit out of him and none of this would have happened. And you'd still have your front teeth. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on in buses? Buses are awful. Buses are terrible. I knew it when I was on them before, but now they're even worse. Now it's just this rolling fucking octagon of people getting fucking smacked. You know who's happy about this? The United States auto industry. Seriously, they should be the most happy guys about all this shit that's going on in the buses. If I was General Motors, I would buy the rights to this video. I would buy the rights to this video. I would buy the rights to the guy who got beat up by the old man in San Francisco. Better call the Amber Lamps. You know that guy? And I would buy the fucking, what was the woman in New Jersey who was getting heckled by the teenage boys? I would buy all three of those clips if I was the American auto industry, and I would just put them in a commercial, and I would run them back to back. And I would just write America, literally just words. It wouldn't even be a narrator. It would just be all that shit, people getting punched. You'd hear that fucking shark get slapped. You'd hear that fucking tutor get fucking heckled. And you'd see that guy go, and literally the last line he'd go, better call the Amber Lamps. And he'd bleed all over. And then you just freeze frame it. And the text would say, hey, America, we're here when you get your shit together. Cars. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend on Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can be our friend David Hernandez's friend at Facebook. At Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. Our friend Lily Von Stupp, producer of the show, is available at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can follow her at two different Twitter accounts, Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp and Twitter.com/MNTs. And if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out exactly what shade of clown makeup she's wearing here at the end of the show, you can go ahead and write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com. Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine, hosted by myriad performers, but produced by the best burlesque producer in the history of the industry.
Wow.
That's right. In the history of the art form. I go that far. My friend Lily Von Stupp, who also produces this show, and she's here right now. Hey, Lily.
Hi, Michael.
How are you?
I'm good.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for enjoying the show and helping me out.
Great weekend.
It was good. I'm glad you came out, and I'm glad you ignored me. I didn't text her not to laugh at the one man at the podcast because I hoped that a room full of people would be laughing and it was okay.
You can't hear me over the crowd.
Yeah, well, we'll see. People will check that out then for themselves, hopefully. But you had the Monday Night Teas this week. How'd that go?
It's fantastic.
That was Dr. Zombo's show from what I heard.
No, actually it wasn't.
I'm sorry?
an idiot.
What, last week's show I was told it was Dr. Zombo and he was involved.
Last week's show was Doc and Stumpy's harem, and I screwed my weeks up.
Oh.
So this week is Dr. Zombo, and you've already heard about it.
Folks, if you, well now, but no, people were like so mad last week, like, God damn it, I can't believe I can't see Dr. Zombo. Guess what?
True.
A second chance has arrived, folks. Get ready to go check out the Dr. Zombo show this Monday with our friend Lily Von Stupp in attendance. And, hey, can I plug your Magic Castle thing?
You can, yeah.
Okay. What are the dates? The 25th through the 31st?
25th through the 31st, except for Monday, yeah.
Okay, except for that Monday, our friend Lily Von Stupp will be at the Magic Castle. Now, the Magic Castle is an amazing place. I mean, it's just performers and rooms and magic. And, I tease on here and I talk about magic and I make fun of it until I see it, and then I'm baffled by it and I'm astonished by it. When it's good, you're just amazed by it. It's ridiculous things like the orange and the dollar and all that shit I make fun of. But when you see somebody do something really revolutionary or something completely different that you can't, because I can never figure it out. I'm not that guy. I know people are like, oh, I watched his hands. Or I can't figure out a fucking thing. I'm a doofus. So at the Magic Castle, the only reason they don't let me in more often, I've never been. I've been we went once. Karen and I went up just to see the view, but also you need to wear a suit to go in. But even if I got a suit, they wouldn't let me in because everybody would drown in the drool from my mouth as I was slack-jawed at everything that I was watching. I don't know how they do it. I don't get it, and I can't figure it out, and it freaks me out. But our friend Lily Von Stupp is a member at the Magic Castle. She and Eddie go up all the time. And it turns out the end of this month for their Halloween festivities, our friend Lily Von Stupp is going to be there, and she is going to be...
Bride of Frankenstein.
She's portraying the Bride of Frankenstein at the Magic Castle. And there will be, I assume, like famous movie monsters all throughout the castle.
Yes, it's the Castle of Monsters this year. So all of the big Hollywood blockbuster monsters are being featured in every room. There's Frankenstein and his bride, Creature of the Black Lagoon, Dracula, Wolfman, the Mummy, you name it.
Great. So awesome. All the famous Universal monsters will be there. And our friend Lily is the Bride of Frankenstein. So she will be there the 25th through the 31st. Go check out the amazing shows, but also say hi to Lily and check out what is no doubt going to be the best makeup job in history. And see her there. It's going to be so fun and so cool. But remember, this Monday night is, of course, Dr. Zombo. Tickets are on sale for other shows at brownpapertickets.com. If you want to go there and check out Lily Von Stupp or Monday Night Teas, tickets are on sale for the Prince show in November and all other upcoming events in the next month. Tickets are available, and I will plug those shows accordingly when the weeks arrive. But right now, you can actually cheat and look into the future by going to Brown Paper Tickets or going to MondayNightTeas.com. for any and all information that you would need. You can go to Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy and be my friend. And again, there are other cities that want me to come to their town, all those pages. And I have to be honest, I'm probably done for 2000. 12. We'll have to repick things up in 2013 as far as touring because it's just not being fruitful, and we're already near. We're in October. I'm not going to book anything for December. The holidays are always rough. So the pages exist. You can go ahead and get your names on them for Detroit, places like that. I will tell you this. I have Philadelphia coming up this week and St. Louis coming up in a month. I'll tell you about St. Louis first. The Soulard Hall on November, I think it's the 16th, but it could be the 18th. I've been mixing that up as I tell you guys. It's a Friday, I believe, November 16th at Soulard Hall in St. Louis. Tickets are on sale now at brownpapertickets.com. Go ahead and check it out. Look me up. Look up the 40-year-old boy, or look up Success is Not an Option. And then also Philadelphia this week. The shows are, I'll tell you about Philadelphia a little later, but those tickets are on sale now too, as a matter of fact. But I'm going to tell you this, the two shows for the end of this year, I think are going to bring an end to the Success is Not an Option show. I'm going to figure out a whole new, not a whole new, but a new way of packaging things and figuring out how to make things, because Sunday really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And, I have a wealth of material that I should be bringing to the stage. I've had ideas about doing other things in the past, but I think as far as the show that I've been doing, and this is good news for Derek, my friend Derek Leitner, who's seen the show 6 times. So he's like, thank God you're shaking it up. Fuck, maybe I can actually go to another one. But yeah, I have so many different stories and things, and so I don't know if I'm going to go to town and just make it where I'm telling stories. I don't know. I haven't figured it out, but I can tell you that Philadelphia and St. Louis are the last 2 Success is Not an Option shows. And then we'll think of a new branding for the tour and all sorts of stuff like that and what it's going to be. I have to rewrite some stuff, but if you can get tickets to those shows, I would, because you can talk to people who've seen it, and they've been great. So they will be good in Philadelphia. They will be good in St. Louis. I don't know who they are, but it'll be good. So go ahead and pick up tickets now at brownpapertickets.com. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Go to the Joe Business page. Plenty of stuff available there now. I'll tell you, there are mugs available through the Zazzle page right there, Thorgar and Yeep and Fireboy. And then, of course, there are tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds available, and autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and cock ring watches available at tweakedaudio.com. I should tell you this. I met Bruce from tweakedaudio.com on Friday night at the show, and I got to tell you, he could not have been more complimentary or more of a fan of this show, because a lot of sponsors will sponsor shows and they shotgun all over the place. And I've actually made fun of Tweaked a few times because they've sponsored David Feldman, they've sponsored Mark Maron, they've done all sorts of different shows. But Bruce actually listens to this show. Like, he knew inside jokes and he brought things up. And he told me, and I can't tell you a lot of the things he said because it's probably in confidence. I shouldn't say this, but he hates every other show but mine. Anyway. No, he was very nice, and he and I spent a good 30 minutes chatting at the pool, and he was real friendly, and he wants to do a promotion with me. So as soon as I can figure out what that's going to be, we will do that, because they're developing new products all the time over there at Tweaked. Like I said, there's earbuds and watches, and then they're tweaking the earbuds, because again, it's tweakedaudio.com/40. They are tweaking things and making things different, flattening the cords, all sorts of different approaches. And they're a growing company, and like a growing company should, they're improving as they go forward. So give everything that they sell a second look, or even a first look if you haven't been over there. Tweakedaudio.com/40. Get the discount that I afford you, and then also get me some money back, and that's really cool. Artwork is available, signed artwork from the show, either Explosion of Ids or actual artwork from actual episodes, and that will be autographed by me, my friend Lillian, and my friend David. T-shirts are available. We sold some shirts at the festival, which was great. Red Boy and Scar Panda are available both right now on the website. And the download sets, of course, are available. Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, and Year 4 are available individually or as part of the Podcast of the Caribbean set. And who doesn't want to have On Stranger Mics on their mantelpiece? I don't know if you can put these downloads on your mantelpiece. Perhaps you should. Perhaps, you know what? Get them and then burn them to disc. So you have a handsome collector's disc, and make it like a book. Make it a binder. Make it a binder full of Schmidt. Instead of a binder full of women, have a binder full of me. So those are available on the website, but also, more importantly, also there's donations. You can donate to the show individually, like a one-time donation, or you can actually give $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month to support the show. And as I've mentioned, all of the money for all of the purchases that you make for any of this stuff goes right back into the show, to Lily, to David, to me, to going on the road and being able to do live shows, all that kind of stuff. For a shirt, I'll wear a fancy shirt for you folks. And also, like I said, all of those things are available on MikeSchmidtComedy.com at the Joe Business page. But more importantly, right now, this week, you go there right now, it should be available. Schmitty Comes Alive, which is the episode, the live episode of the podcast that was done Sunday in the Sheraton at the Cabria Room. That's right. I come to you live from the Cabria Room, ladies and gentlemen. Huge crowd of people. Small room, big crowd because it was packed to the rafters. They had to put extra chairs in. I was really excited. They started stacking it up and bringing people in, and more people kept coming in because I was worried at 10 to 4. There were 8 people in the room. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe this happened. I met more people in the hallway from out of town who told me they were excited about my show than are in the room right now. Did they just fucking blow me off? What the fuck is happening? And then, of course, by 4 o'clock, the room was full. And they had to bring in extra chairs because more people showed up. So it was fantastic. And I could not be more proud of it. It's a story you have not heard. And it is live with a crowd. And it has everything that I want this show to be. $5. Pick it up now at MikeSchmidtComedy.com on the Joe Business page. Schmitty comes alive. Own it. And like I said, I'll be in Philadelphia this week. Let's talk about that for just a second. Philadelphia, you have decided... Look, it's very obvious you don't like me. You didn't like me last time. You like me even less this time around. I thought I was going to be able to pull that out of the fire, and it turns out so far, no. But I will tell you that Carlos, who runs the Latvian Society, has been very cool. It is this coming Friday. So I am actually on a plane. I'm finishing recording this, which is Wednesday, and then I'm on the plane early Thursday morning, flying out there. And the show's Friday night at 8 o'clock at the Latvian Society. It'll be a very small room with a very small crowd, but that's okay. There are still tickets available right now at brownpapertickets.com, and then there will be tickets available at the door. Absolutely. Walk-up tickets are $20 right now. You can pick them up, like I said, at brownpapertickets.com, or $20 at the door when you show up. I will have T-shirts with me to sell. I'm not bringing many, because there's not that many people coming to the show. So I will do that. I will bring shirts. The show is in the Latvian Society in one, in a bigger room. And then I contacted Carlos and I told him, I said, listen, I don't mean to be a mean dude, but, this show is really abysmally, it's selling abysmally. It's not, there got to be a lot of people there. So I apologize to you, and your bartender and whoever else is going to be there, because there is a bar at the show. And then he reached out and he's like, hey, man, we have another room, like a smaller room. Would you want to move into that room? The only problem is it doesn't have a stage. And I wrote him, I don't give it. Yes, done immediately. Because I don't care if it doesn't have a stage. Because you know what, folks? When I was in Philadelphia last year, there wasn't a stage. I worked at the Plays and Players Theater, and it was people were in seats, and there was no stage. There were people on, right on the floor level, but then there was bleacher seating that went straight up. Well, there won't be any bleacher seating at the Latvian Society because the Latvians don't believe in bleachers since the fucking accident. You don't recall the great soccer Latvian bleacher collapse of 1811? It was terrible. Latvians were crushed everywhere, and so they don't build bleachers. It's what they do as a people. But there will be regular seating and me not on a stage, and I don't give a shit at this point. I don't need to be above you people to bring my show to you. I need to just be right on your level because that's where I am. So, let's get into this. Why don't you want me to have a stage, Philadelphia? Let's talk about that because I can do without a stage. I did without one last year, and now I've now moved into a room without one this year. But why the fuck won't you allow me a stage? Is that maybe that's what it is? You won't put me above you because you think that I'm not above you. You want to bring me back down to earth? Is that what it is, Philadelphia? Well, I'm humbled. I sit here humbled before you because believe me, I will never come to your town again. I've gotten the message. The first time I thought I did, I drove around. You tried to kill me. Oh no, get this fucking nonsense. Oh, I'll tell you about it next week. I rented a car again in Philadelphia. Even though I wasn't gonna, I did. I'll tell you about it next week. But hopefully, if there is a next week, who the fuck knows? Because again, I'm gonna be out driving in Philadelphia. I might wind up dead. Because again, we've already established this city does not want me. They don't need me. They don't want me there. And they established that last July, and I still booked it again to go back out there because I had, I'm like, oh well, it'll go and I'll have a good time and I'll see the people that I saw last time. It'll be a time to no, I won't even see them. I'm sure they won't come. Why would they come a second time? I wouldn't come a second time. I shouldn't even be going there a second fucking time. But sure enough, I booked it, and now this will be what it's going to be. And so come on out, folks. Tickets are out. Look how excited I am about this show this Friday in Philadelphia at the Latvian Society. Tickets available now at brownpapertickets.com, and walk-up tickets are going to be available. Go ahead and check it out and come out and see what I'm like not on stage. If you're like, oh man, I don't want to see him on stage, well, that's okay. Pretentiousness has gone out the window. Along with me, I may leap out the window depending on how high up we are in the fucking Latvian Society. because I have a tone. Because you know why? Because I talk quickly and I don't fucking think. That's why. I think that's what it means when you have a tone. Is you don't fucking bother to care what comes flying out of your goddamn mouth. I try to grow the show and I want people to get on board and they're like, I listen to it and you talk too fast. Really, I talk too fast. How the hell else am I supposed to cram all of this into a small 3-hour window? Dude, there's no script. I just go over this shit on the fly. It makes me laugh. If it doesn't make you laugh, turn the fucking station. And by turn the station, I mean turn the wheel of your car right into a guardrail. Jesus fuck. Hey, where are you going? Oh.